Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Crucial Conflict. We have the normal three panelists. Well, we have four. Darrell on his way. With me, Johnny Van Buren. We got Mr. Burger Brooks, Mr. Matt Francis, and we have a special guest. St. 1996 graduate of St. Augustine High School, Mr. Isaac Ike Williams.
What's up? Shout out everybody. How y'all feeling today?
I'm good. Blessed to be here.
Man, I really appreciate y'all having me on here. I really appreciate this platform for all that it does. Let me go about saying that. Everybody that's involved, what y'all doing with the city and the things that y'all are trying to accomplish as a team, is my hat goes off to you guys. So much respect to you all.
Back at you, big bro.
Appreciate it.
So tonight, man, we normally talk about band. We normally talk about the betterment of the bands in New Orleans and the kids. But tonight we have to get into a deeper discussion about us, about the Black community, about what's going on in America today. Discussion is about George Floyd, how we feel about that, police brutality in the Black community. Like how we feel about that. Like how what can we do? What can we do as a race, or what can be done? I don't want to say what can we do as a race, but what can be done as a whole, so we can stop this. So we want to get right into it, and I'm gonna ask the special guest to give his thoughts, how he feel about everything that's going on in America right now. We also gonna talk about the Drew Brees too.
All right. So you want me to just jump right into it?
Yes, sir.
All right. So again, thank y'all for having me. I'm gonna talk about a few things, and the way I like to have this type of discussion, I like the rapport backwards and forth, because that allows more information to come out. So the initial topic that I saw online was empower our community toward lasting change, and Johnny just kind of touched on that, empowering our community. I think the first thing we have to do is define what community is. Community, in our eyes, as the so-called Black community, we see each other with Black skin, and we officially say that that's the Black community, when in fact it's not. Until you have a unified understanding and a goal toward and an objective, you're not a community. You're just a bunch of people living sporadically around the world. I give for instance, I live mid-city, and mid-city is a large Hispanic, Latino, and I differentiate Latino and Hispanic as both of those compiled together in this in mid-city. And I would look at mid-city as kind of like their stronghold, where most of them are. They have a grocery store. They have their own neighborhoods, areas where they hang out at. And the beauty of that is that they move based off of one thing, and it's language. Because some people are from South America, some people may be from, let's say, Honduras or whatever, Venezuela. No matter where they're from, they join together on one cohesive understanding that we all speak the language and we all are foreigners. And we come here together and we're going to build together. So when you start talking about community, you got to first define what community is. Because other than that, we just throwing salt into the wind, and it's just gonna blow. So my first approach is to make everyone understand, try to get everyone to understand that this is not a quick fix. Anything that we do right now is going to be a Band-Aid to get us over the hump. Just for numbers' sake, if you look at 1865 is when the slaves were so-called emancipated. It wasn't until 1964 that Blacks were truly able to have the opportunity to vote. So you're talking 100 years from 1865 to 1964. It took that long for Blacks to vote in this country, when they said 3 things make you a citizen: serving in the military, voting, and I forget what the other one is, but those 3 alternative, and being on a jury. Those 3 things say you're a citizen. We know, one, that they and the jury, your peers, never look like you. We just now having like laws being passed to say that you got to have unanimous jury. You got, these having more our representation on that. So we know that's not a benefit for us. We know the military always put blacks on the front line. And when we come back from war, we don't get the same benefits that everyone else gets. And thirdly, we find ourselves in a situation where we're constantly trying to fight for our representation politically. So what we have to do is understand those things and take control over our lives. It's a long-term situation. My first idea and my solution, and it's something what you guys are doing. I heard Johnny say in the opening, this is for bands and for kids to teach the children. Well, first we got to band together. And the teaching has to be directed directly to the youth. Frederick Douglass said these words. He said, it's better to deal with children than to try to fix broken adults. The reason why is because adults have their minds fixated on what they think it is and how they see the world, or they have already been damaged or jaded by society. A child is going to take everything that you teach them, and that's what life is, because it's their first time being an adult. It's their first time on the planet. So we have to be very, very particular about what we're teaching and how we're teaching it. I have a lot of other responses on that particular portion. We can get into that as we move on. But that's the first key. We got to deal with our children. We got to teach children. We got to have not reform, because education reform means you just going back to the same mold and building up the same thing again. No, we got to totally obliterate the education system that our children are growing up in. As a Black architect, one thing that we learned is that Blacks and whites learn differently in different environments. We need environments that are bright with a lot of colors. Now, all of us that went to school here in New Orleans, tell me how your schools looked. They were all dreary. Some of the schools didn't even have windows, but yet we still was able to make it out of those institutions. But the reality of it is, if you put us in spaces where we are capable to thrive, then we'll be able to heal our community a little bit better. Tell me how much more y'all can go, because I can talk all day. Tell me how much, because I don't see none of y'all. Y'all want me to keep going, or what is it with you?
We listening, bro. We listening.
Nah, I'm with you. I'm at some point though. Let me ask you a question.
Run it.
My question is: Are you saying that this is one of the keys to this that us being more educated is a possible source of?
I got what you're asking. Let me because that was going to my next point. So there's a name I'm gonna throw out. His name is Neely Fuller, Neely Fuller. He's an older guy. He was the mentor to Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. If you don't know who that is, look up both of those people. They're very, very powerful minds. Neely Fuller put out an agenda. It's entitled The 9 Areas of Human Activity. So in 9 areas of your life, you're going to be involved in at some point. And what happened, white supremacy controls all 9 areas. And I'm gonna give those 9 areas: politics, economics, religion, sex, entertainment, war, labor, education, and law. In each one of those areas, we got to have a stronghold in our own communities. It's not a one area thing, because too often our community, you find these so-called leaders jump up and say, man, we got to do it this way. And everybody funnel their attention that way, and you're leaving yourself open on this side. We got to make sure that when we're looking at our community, we are covering every basis. And I'm not talking about no coon people in office or someone that just looks like us in place. I'm talking about people that really concern themselves with the welfare of Black people to be taken out of the situation we are, with the awareness that it's not going to be done overnight. You got to have that understanding. Did I answer you what you asked, which was question?
No.
Okay.
But it's all no, but it's all great information though. I agree that these things should happen. My question for you is, are you inferring that these things that you've outlined eloquently, I might add, but are you inferring, and I don't disagree with them in any of them, but are you inferring that these things are going to be the salvation of Black people?
I can't really infer anything. I can only suggest the fact that we have to start taking control over the areas of our lives that we are going to be involved in. We have to. You turn on the television, one, who do you see on television the most? You don't see representation of the Black community, right? So you turn on most of your movies are white male or white female dominant leads, right? It took Halle Berry to give it up to a white boy to get an Oscar. It took Denzel to be a quote unquote nigger to get an Oscar when all the roles that he did before were pristine from Glory. Who can shed one tear on sight? Like, that's what Denzel shed, one tear. This man deserved the Oscar, but he had to act a fool for them to say, you know what, let's give it to him now. So we got to start understanding we got to control ourselves. And it's not a matter of like saying, you got to do this, you got to do that. We got to have a cohesive way of thinking. And that's the problem in our Black community, is that we don't think the same. One group over here think this way, one group over here think is this way, one group over here think that way. So we got to bring them groups down for those who are really sincere about change, not about greasing their pockets, not about accolades, not about being on top and everybody giving them a pat on the shoulder and attaboys. You got to have a heart, even if you're not on the scene, to be doing work. And it's not always big things. You could be doing things small in your community. You could be changing, just like what y'all doing with the children right now. That's making change.
I understand that. Let me ask this more directly.
All right.
What do you think we can do? And let me say this, I am unapologetically a proud Black man, as I know all of y'all on here are. So because I am I'm upset. I'm to be completely honest with you, I'm overrun with emotion as it concerns this. So I'm as people say stuff, I may push back some. So I don't want anyone to take anything I say personally or anything like that. We just brothers. We sharing ideas.
Yep.
And so I fully expect that I'm gonna say some things that are gonna make some people feel uncomfortable, right? Okay. So here it's gonna start with this question. Because I'm not asking the right thing, because you're not answering this question specifically.
Okay.
What do you think we can do to stop these evil bastards from shooting young Black men down in the street like animals? What do you think we can do? Because I 100% agree, and this won't be just for you. I don't want you to feel. I don't want you to feel personally attacked, because that is not my intent. But these animals, what can we do to stop? I agree that we need education, but as I shared with some brothers earlier this week, these animals took a Harvard professor from his house and accused him of breaking in the house. He wasn't afforded any of his constitutional rights when he was arrested. So in my opinion, that brother has achieved the pinnacle of education, as I've stated before. So when I agree that we need unity, but we've been unified for a while in that we're tired of getting killed like animals. That we're tired of not getting our due process. We're sick and tired of it. And so what I'm asking specifically, not what will better the Black community. I'm asking what we can do to stop these evil, hell-bound agents of the devil, right? What can we do to stop them from shooting our people down like dogs? That's what I'm asking. Now, anytime I feel like that's not being answered, or anytime I feel like we're gonna be blamed for the way we've been treated, I am gonna push back on that. So again, brother Ike, I appreciate the valiant point you made about education and unity, but I would submit to you that those things are our lacking in those things, and I agree in that regard as well. But I don't think those are the causes of this evil organization and organizations like it that are pitted against people that look like us. I don't think those things are the key. So that's what I'm asking.
Right.
What can we do to stop these evil bastards from shooting people down that look like us?
All right. I understand the question thoroughly at this time. So thank you for readdressing that. And first, and I want to respond to something as well. I don't take anything personal, especially when it's talking about healing.
Yes.
And when I look at, and I liken this, and I'm gonna get to you, I'm gonna respond. I liken this like in a relationship. A man and a woman, whomever, the same sex, whatever it is, if you're in a relationship and your spouse is trying to tell you something, and no matter how hard those words are, you need to listen, because they're telling you how they feel. And you shouldn't be offended by how someone feels. You should understand why they feel that way. That's how you get to healing. So with your response and your question is a very good question. And this is what I would say. First of all, I can't change no one's mind, and the Black community can't change anyone else's mind. They are hell-bent on being who they are. All right, that's one thing. What can we do?
I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. We're not going to use common nouns either. Who are these they that you're referring to?
The same people that you just addressed, these devils, these wicked, vile people, right? So,
my brother. There we go. There we go.
So, I mean, there's a lot of things that I would share because I truly, and to be honest with you, I have a plan for our community. But I'm not going to share that particular plan on this platform, because I'm a strong proponent that any general would not give their war strategies away openly. That's foolish. But what I would say is that the community has to go back into leadership mode. We got too many people. We don't need no leaders. You can't get nowhere without leadership. It's okay to be your own leader in your own home and to do things, but you got to have a funnel of direction. Just like this show, someone brainstormed this show, someone put this show together, and then we all came on and we could speak our piece, but someone had to start it. Someone has to lead it. Someone has to keep things in order. And that's, first off, the Black Panther Party did something that was very, very, very good in those days. And we got to get back to that. We got to get back to a situation where we're guarding our communities. And I'm not just talking men, you got to stand up. No, our communities got to guard ourselves, because we're not living in that world that our forefathers lived in. At that time, men was going to work, women stayed home. That time has changed. So now we all have to come together to make change in our communities as a team. As far as what we're going to do with them, we have to make open examples of people that infiltrate our ranks. But you can only do that when you have a system in place. What system am I talking about? Let's just talk about these protests right now. With the protests going on, that's passion. That is pure passion. Our community have a good way of mobilizing and never organizing. So what do you do in this situation to make sure that that no one is coming to your community? You organize. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm to organize on a major scale, on a macro, then you organize on a micro. Okay, so I live mid-city. If I knew all the people in my neighborhood, which goes back to that word community, how I opened up. If I had community with the people around me, if any cop came in my neighborhood, we dealing with that. We are on the front line to make sure what's going on, because I know Tyrone, I know Robert, I know this person. But when we don't know each other, we're not going to stand for each other. And know what we're going to do? We're going to be hashtags. So we got to deal with the mindset first. We got to deal with the understanding of community first before we start doing anything. That passion that we have for protesting, that's great. That's great. But we got to, it's like in the fight, right? If you don't know how to fight, you get in that thing and you just swinging, right? So one of those punches may knock somebody out. But if you strategically extend your arm and hit, and you've been trained to fight, you know how to fight that enemy. We don't know how to fight yet, Matt. So we can't deal with them right now until we deal with us, because it's gonna keep happening. That's what I'm getting at.
So Ike, what you're saying is basically, like everybody's protesting, but it's really not as organized as it should be. So it's like, but if it was organized.
Robin, can you wait? Hold on. I'm sorry, Johnny. Robin, leave T Brown comment up, because I'm gonna comment on that. I'm a comment on it. So if you can leave that up, I'm a comment on that when Johnny and Berger get through. Leave that up for a second.
And I got one more thing to say about that before you finish, Johnny. Let me say this. and this is where I stand on this. I'm not a person of politics, but I believe politics in its purest form works. And that starts on the local level, right? So you have to have what they call block voting. If you find someone amongst your tribe, let's take Robin, let's take Johnny, Berger, or yourself, Matt, and we know that you are down for the cause of Black people. I'm talking about sincerely down for the cause of Black people. We elect you because now we're controlling our businesses. We have the money, because money and politics are hand in hand. Now, this person who is my elected official, they're the ones that choose the police chief, right? And if the police chief is chosen, they're the ones that govern their staff. When you have police chiefs that don't care about what their staff do, we have these problems because politics is run amok. We got to change everything from the ground up. And if we don't, we just constantly going to be throwing soap at the wall and hoping it stick. It's not going to change.
Okay, what you said, Johnny?
No, I kind of asked him, what he was saying. Was
to kind of answer you a little bit, Matt. I see with a lot of Black men, and like it burns my soul because it's older Black men. They blame us for what happens to us. How can you see a Black man get killed in the street, and your response to that is, "But we killing each other"?
I agree. You better say that.
We not holding each other responsible, man. And that kills me because these are guys that I look up to, and sometimes when I see those comments, that's the same people that get on the internet and scream, "But Black on Black crime." Man, it's like I'm tired of throwing out the numbers. 84% of white males in this country are killed by other white males. So when we get on the internet talking about Black on Black crime, that kind of hurt. Like, you basically giving them the excuse to say, well, y'all kill each other, so why is it a problem when a white man does it? We gotta stop that mind. That mentality is not getting us nowhere, for one. And the big thing that I say we need to keep it, we need to love each other, bro. We don't love each other enough. That's the problem. Unity, and we do not love each other. We don't. We seeing it every day in our communities. It's not enough, bro. Ain't nothing wrong with me saying I love my brothers, because I love every last one of y'all.
Yeah.
We don't talk to each other enough like that. It's okay to uplift another man and tell him you care about him. Like, bro, I see the day like it's like we getting further and further away from each other, bro. And that's crazy to me.
I agree with that.
Back in the day, our ancestors loved each other because that was all they had. That was all they had to stand on. Today, bro, we don't love each other as much as they did back then. And that's a problem for us.
Right.
So, so
let me. Okay, cool.
Matt. So we shouldn't touch our own problem, though. Like, we do have. I'm not gonna say Black, but we do have young Black kids killing young Black kids consistently.
But you know the difference, Johnny? If I shoot you, I'm going to jail for life. If Mr. John, the police officer, shoot you, he going home to his family, to the justice
probably
system,
not gonna
figure
lose
out a
his
way
job.
to get him off.
He probably not gonna lose. Johnny, let me ask the question.
Let me say this though. I understand what y'all saying. Like, that's before the legal part, before all of the legal part.
But that's what we're talking about today, Johnny.
Listen, before all of the legal part, before you go in front of the judge. I'm in the classroom every day, dog. I deal with these kids every day. Like, and I could tell you, dog, it has been situations where he came in class and he's like, man, this dude is like there's no hope for him. And we still be trying to like encourage these kids to do better. Like, I am one of the people that really try to help the young kids not make decisions like that. So don't say that we cannot worry about it, because we do need to worry about it. That's
not what I'm saying. That's not you misunderstanding me. I gave you a number and I gave you facts. I told you 84% of white males are killed in this country by another white male. And I've never heard a white person ever white on white crime. So the problem that you create in your mind, I really feel like that kills me, bro. We can't use the problem that's going on in our communities. If you live around majority Black people, that's who are going to be killing each other. If we lived around more white people, then the numbers will be different. but that's not. We live around each other. So when we get into it with our neighbors and the people in our community, that's what being killed us. But that's not like that. That's crazy to me that we say that. That's not true. We can't keep giving them the like we can't keep giving them that platform to take away from us. That's why Drew Brees was comfortable to say what he said. Because taking away a man with that voice on that platform, he was comfortable to say that because we give it to him.
Let me say
nobody's gonna hold him accountable for that.
So I hear the difference in what y'all saying. I'm gonna Berg, I totally agree with what you're saying, right? As far as the numbers, the stats, I think John is dealing with more of an emotional aspect of because he deals with these kids on a day-to-day basis. And as a matter of fact, we got to deal with that. And the problem is systemic racism, right? You got to understand why that's happening before you deal with it, right? So systemic, to Berger's point, the news, any propaganda, you look up the word propaganda, what that means. It's the gospel, right? And when you search the etymology of that word, it tells you that's a gospel that they want to put out in the world. So they have carefully and constructively painted the Black community the way that they wanted to look, from cops to pimps and hoes to everything. So now when we watch, that's why I went back earlier. You got to get these children off of white television, off of white movies, off of white cartoons, everything that supports white supremacy. We got to change it. Why? Because they're the ones that's controlling our music. And when you get into the music, now you're dealing with a mantra. And a mantra is something you tell yourself all day long, over and over and over. And then after a while, you're going to act on that. We have a prison system that also governs our community. Because what happens, these people get out of prison, they don't have reform places for them to go. They send them right back to the hood. So now the people in the hood, they got to deal with these criminals that's been in for 20, 25 years that will bust your head. So when we start looking at that, these are parents of these kids too. So now we have a systemic situation going on. So I don't look at Black on Black crime as like, oh, we just killing each other. There's a reason why that's happening, in my opinion. And once we deal with the cause and stop dealing with the symptoms, then we're gonna start seeing healing. That's my approach. I don't like dealing with Band-Aids. That don't heal nothing. We got to get to the root. We got to understand that this is a system that we are dealing with. That's war, and not battles. We got to understand a war.
I'm sorry. Okay, let me. Okay, so let me make sure I understand what we're dealing with. We talking about today. How do we stop these animals from killing our people?
No, Johnny brought up the Black on Black crime, and Berger.
I'm talking about, but the show and its conception. We were talking about how we stop. Okay, that's what we're talking about. I just wanted to make sure. Again, I'm gonna say some things that are not popular. I hear a lot of blaming us for what's going on.
I don't like
with
it.
us.
I don't like it.
I hear a lot of blaming. I hear a lot of blaming us. Let me also say that I agree with what you said, Berger, spot on. But I'm gonna take it a couple steps further, if y'all don't mind. These and I'm trying not to curse, but these animals don't care if we're listening to mainstream music or whether we're educated or whether these people, no matter what we do, they see us as savages.
Niggas.
They behave that way with us. That's the way they see us. And I see so much blaming of us until back to the propaganda that Brother Ike spoke about. We're starting to believe that. It's to the point where we believe that there was a crack epidemic in our communities, which allowed the Clintons to sell to Black people, nonetheless, that there needed to be a war on drugs, which relaxed the policies against illegal searches and seizures. We believe that. When that evil bastard Bill Clinton got onto, you gonna remember this, brother, right? Because you old enough to when he got on the Arsenio Hall show and played his saxophone, we fell in love with that bastard. So then they sold our people that there was a crack epidemic. Man, listen, everybody in the black community ain't smoking crack. It ain't 5%. Let me tell you something. You wanna see an epidemic? Want to see epidemic? Check the opiate epidemic. But they're not kicking in doors in suburban America because those people are not seen as savages. Nothing we're gonna. It's not our levels of education. It's not unity. It's not what we're listening to. It's that these people believe that we're evil. The thing that they have on their sides is we began to believe it. We believe. Man, let me tell you something, man. If you give all of us are family men. If you tell us split here's $10, you got to feed your family for the month with that. Man, we're gonna fight over that $10. We're gonna try to hurt each other over that. When you put limited resources in the community and all of the rest of the evil, wicked, iniquity-filled things these people do to us, when they do these things, that leads to it. It's a as Rashawn said earlier in his statement, it's a cycle. It's a cycle. These people can't help it. Of course, if they make us fight over $10, man, we gonna hurt each other. We gonna kill each other over this stuff. Every problem that the black community faces is as a result of systemic racism. Period. Anything that y'all are gonna any point that y'all are gonna make, I'm going forward because I even in the comments I see a lot of blaming of black people.
Can I go a little bit further?
Can I go? And again, and wait, give me 1 second, because y'all spoke for a second. I asked the question, but I ain't never gave no. Give me one. I'm almost done though. So I want to say, going forward, when I see something in the comments that even appears to be black people blaming, I'm jumping on that shit because now ain't the time. We not the problem. Until we look the problem in the face and stop saying listen, you want to know what's wrong with them black boys in your classroom? The black man has systemically been gotten out of the house by white supremacy. That you listen, and I can show you how, but we're gonna stop blaming. We not the problem, Johnny. But the problem with our people is we were subjected to 250 years of I'm trying not to curse, but of slavery, and another 150 years of the Jim Crow law, and they still reap the benefits of it. Our thinking is so backwards until you have black people that support the Confederacy. They have no problem with it. They have no problem with the thinking, with the concept that says white people are superior to us.
Don't forget they lost. That Confederate flag they were.
So again, going forward, whenever I hear anything, because again, this show is about these fucking, excuse my French, animals that are shooting people down that look like me and my sons. So going forward, whenever I hear anything that sounds like blaming us, I'm on that shit. Going forward, that's in the comments and that's on the show.
I just want to say one thing, and you can say what you gotta say. I feel like another big thing that hurts our community is the Democratic and the Republican Party, because neither one of them give a shit about us. And our grandmothers and grandfathers been voting Democrat for years and years, and not a goddamn thing changed. While we talking about Bill Clinton, I heard Matt speak on Bill Clinton, but what we failed to mention is that the Democratic nominee for 2020 is the guy that wrote and introduced the 3 strikes bill to the Clintons. So when we go to talking about all that, make sure we put that Joe Biden wrote the bill that got black men locked up and took black men away from the home. So that's why I how soon do we forget and forgive? Now in 2020, we ready to vote this guy as president because he was underneath a black man for 8 years. How soon do black people forget we are too forgiving for one? We are way too forgiving. I'm not that forgiving no more. You got white people that will hate Michael Vick till he died because he fought dogs. I'm not with it no more. I'm loving my people and my people only. It don't make me a racist because I don't hate them, but it's time I start loving my people and we start loving each other more. Because until we do that, we'll never fix no problem.
So what is? So I heard both of y'all. What is the solution to the problem then? Like, it's a lot of what I'm hearing is a lot of don't blame us. Which I don't.
Hey, let me answer this guy in the comments, Clarence. Vote locally, Clarence. Vote locally.
Burger, hold up. But so I'm trying to figure what's the solution to the problem, because what I'm saying is I'm in the classroom. I'm doing my part, trying to educate these black kids, because you have to get to the youth. Like, at the end of the day, we understand what the system is. I feel as though the only way for this system to overcome itself, we have to educate our youth. Like, we have to let them know. They don't know, like, the kids don't know nothing about what we talking about. All that stuff you said, Matt, the next generation don't know nothing about what you talking about. So what is the solution for our next generation to know?
Aren't you an educator, Johnny? Aren't you an educator?
But I can't do it by myself, dog.
I want to know what you're gonna teach them to stop them from getting their neck unjustly knelt on for 8 minutes, and they be unresponsive Matt, another 2 minutes.
It's bigger than that, though, Matt. It's bigger than that.
No, it's not. No. It's not. It's they killing all kinds of us, Johnny. No, they're not just killing one kind of us. See, Johnny, I hear a lot of blaming us there.
It's not. I'm not blaming us. I'm saying we need to educate us. Like, I'm not saying the George Floyd shit, that was messed up. I'm not saying that was messed up. But what we gonna do for this next generation? They need to be educated on what's about to happen to them. That's what
I'm trying to save dudes that's living now.
So
ain't gonna be no next generation if they smoke us out, Johnny. What about Elton Sterling? You talking about George Floyd like that's an isolated event. What about all these other righteous brothers that's gone too soon?
I'm gonna say this.
What about Eric Garner? What about? I'm not gonna. Man,
let me say this, and there's a little pushback that I'm gonna give. It's not much, just a little pushback. Black folk ain't going nowhere. We endured the harshest atrocities on this planet, and we're still here. We ain't going nowhere. That's one thing we got to understand. We are resilient, and we're gonna find a way. That's part two. When you start talking education, you got to understand what education is. Not white supremacy education. Education that's going to teach these children and train them to have the right mindset. As far as right now, I understand what Matt's passion is like. Let's deal with these savages that's calling us savages. If you want to go pistol for pistol, try it. We go outgunned, we outnumbered, and we out organized. We're gonna lose that fight. So
I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about going pistol. I'm not talking about going. Wait, let me say this though. Let me say this. The fact we're not as outnumbered as you might think either. We don't participate in census and stuff like that.
I ain't talking numbers.
We're not nearly as outnumbered as you might think.
I'm not talking numbers. I'm talking about equipment. Like if you take your time, and like right now, when we go out to protest, they got people going out there with bandanas, like do-rags, anything that can be out. That's unorganized, because the first thing that's going to happen, they're going to get hit with rubber bullets. They're going to get tear gas, and when they go run off the scene. But you got to prepare people to go out on those type of events. You know what? Amazon delivers everything to your front door. You can get a gas mask. You can get a bulletproof vest. You can get tactical gear to your house. So when you go out to protest, you're going out prepared. So that's all I'm talking about. We are ill prepared for this. So they are strategically trained for combat. We're not. We gonna go out there and we just willy-nilly trying to fight a war that we don't know how to do. So when I'm talking war and not battles, right? So war is mental. War, you got to understand how your enemy thinks and then defeat them at their own game. Mm-hmm. Right now, all we responding to is their actions. So, like, for instance, I'm gonna use a man and a woman again. If a man is whooping his woman And she keeps saying, you know what? I'm tired of getting beat. I'm tired of getting beat. And she never leaves. He's going to keep whooping her until the point she makes up in her mind, I'm about to go do something or I'm leaving. One of the two is going to happen. Until then, you will keep getting your ass whooped. And that's what's happening in our community. We haven't planned. And anybody that leaves a relationship, you think about it before you leave. You plan it before you leave. You just don't get up and walk out. There was a series of things that caused you to leave that situation. So when we start talking about training and planning, David Duke did this. To your point, Matt, about these savages. David Duke did this. He told everybody in the KKK to infiltrate the police, the armed forces. That's what we're dealing with right now. We're dealing with these rednecks holding billy sticks, beating up on black people and killing them. In my opinion, I think they're getting stripes for every black person they kill. So what we got to do, we got to change the narrative. We got to start infiltrating systems and being smart about it. See, people talked about Jay-Z, and I don't get into his politics about him getting into certain things, but none of us saw billionaires make moves like that from our community. We never saw that before. So now we're seeing a black man talking with NFL, and we start seeing things happen. Let things be what they go be. Let's infiltrate, but let's be smart about it. I'm gonna ask this one question, I'll be quiet. Name 5 people that's black, that's not an entertainer, that's a household name. Name 5.
You can't.
That's my point, because all we are is entertainment to this world. Until we start getting into the real politics to change, we playing our games. We playing games. And Berg, I'm with you. I don't believe in Democrat or Republican. I believe in finding someone, and whoever that one is, that's going to stand for us, support him or her, whoever it may be.
We don't vote locally. That's what kills us. We got judges in our city that's giving our black kids 20 years on first offenses. We could go through these comments. Half of these dudes can't even name our state representative for Orleans Parish. Like, that's where we need to vote at. The president, that's always been Chester Checkers. But locally, when these local elections come out, and we sitting at home, that's where we losing at every day. Because that same judge that you didn't go vote in there, that got in there, that snuck in there, will turn around and give your child 15 years in jail for something that they know he didn't do. We're going to give that white boy a slap on the wrist because his daddy cool with him. That's where we losing at. We losing locally. When these local elections come up and we sitting our crazy ass at home and the white people's packed at the poll, voting their nieces and their uncles in there. That's where we losing at. Every year I see it. I go vote locally. And I see it and I be like, man, you know how many times I would text my partners and them like, man, look, y'all boys trying to get registered to vote. I help y'all boys. Because it's that serious. That's what we got to get at with it, because it's really that serious right now in the world. The first time in the history of this country, all 50 states are protesting in agreement that what they saw on that video with George Floyd needs to stop. And the sad part was, Matt, like you said, why did it take for George Floyd? When we saw Eric Garner get choked out, they used the illegal chokehold on him and killed him for selling loose cigarettes. We didn't outrage then. Michael Brown, who was murdered because they say he stole from the store, which he didn't do, and the documentary had to come out, and they lied on this young brother. This white man murdered him in cold blood in the streets. Witnesses all around.
Let me say this, Berger. Let me add this one point, and I see you right there, Cognac. I ain't gonna be long. I promise you. If there's traffic on the interstate, right, and they got a unmarked car and a guy, officer in civilian clothes, he jumps out the car and he does this, right, and every car just starts throwing on brakes. So one, people say because they stop him because he got in the middle of the street and they didn't want to hit him. That's one thing. But what gave him the confidence to stand out there and put his hand up? The confidence was because he knew he has a badge that's going to be supported by a group of people that's going to uphold the rights that I can do this, right? So when you start talking about dealing with the savages who are coming in our communities, they feel they have the right because they got a badge to hold a gun because one, they're scared, and to kill you because they know I got some people that's going to back me up. And that's why we constantly seeing these people get off, because of these rights that they have been afforded. So what we have to do is understand law. And one thing that the black community failed to do is understand law. It's a game. Like if you want to play Monopoly, you don't go to Monopoly with Uno rules. You can't do that. You got to play the game for what it is.
law is law is what it is, man. A lot of these cops are getting off not because they know laws, this, that, and other. They getting off for something that you kind of mentioned a second ago. They have support. Um, do you know why OJ got off? Because OJ overwhelmingly had the support of black people. That's just a fact. He just the problem, the reason why a lot of this bad stuff happens to us is when uh when Trayvon Martin got killed by that evil bitch George Zimmerman, right?
Yeah.
We let him off with that. We nothing happened. We you know what we said? Know what we said? We said, well, it was a fair trial and this, that, and other. Man, that trial was a goddamn sham from the beginning
no
to the time
trial. It wasn't unfair about it.
Not even close. But so the problem is when stuff happens with us, we start blaming us, not other people. I see all of these comments about all of this stuff that we need to do. We need to start support. We need to stop saying after we didn't saw footage of us having the lives of our people snatched away. We saw this, man. Well, we gotta wait for the whole story to come out. We gotta wait. I don't need fuck that investigation, man.
Exactly.
Fuck. I saw what the fuck I saw. My comprehension not bad. I saw what I saw. We got to stop saying stuff like that. As soon as it happened, we have to collectively feel outraged and stop saying stuff like we need to know our hit. Man, listen, these cats don't, white America doesn't necessarily know the history of white America. They don't care. Listen, what happens when they do down bad stuff or when stuff happens to them, they stand behind the cause. We blame each other. We get with them. Well, man, we got to see. Well, that's still no, man. Listen, I believe in this. You can't be for me if you speak slightly against me. I'm out on Breeze. I'm out on everybody. As Berger said, I'm out on everybody who hasn't stood behind this cause. Exactly. And I think the cause is valiant. I have no problem with the rioting. I agree with you. I believe now you said some real shit. I like that they need to get masks. I like that they need to be protected. Hey, let's one up it. Let's get some bulletproof vests. Let's get it all cracking. Let's get it going. Because they wasn't feeling that Kaepernick shit. Right. They wasn't feeling that. They thought that was too radical.
Well, so fuck that.
Let's listen, man. They ain't feeling that. They ain't feeling us. Listen, Donnie, you said that we need to be. Y'all said that we need to be educated. Let's kick some real shit. Black people, when we this is not my opinion. This is a fact. A black man with a bachelor's degree is less likely to be hired than a white man with a fucking high school diploma.
Man,
it's a fact.
Matt, we know that.
What about like you know? Stop saying we need to do stuff to stop us from getting fucking killed.
Hey, we gotta let Mike talk.
Let Mike talk.
Look, this is the next that. Let Mike talk. Let Mike go.
Hey, y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, so I'm gonna touch on a few things, but I look at it like this: no matter what, everything you were saying, Matt, Isaac, Berger, whatever, it's not gonna stop. Like that white privilege is still gonna be there. I'm like, it's not gonna stop. However, moving forward, it's about creating a solution. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because the solution to if you plant a seed, right? It's to grow a tree, a flower, a fruit tree, whatever. So that's the after effect of it. Now, I do agree with some of the different things of like educating yourself more on just different things like that. Like Berger, I do agree with you when you said when it comes to the Republican and Democratic Party, I ain't really dealing with that because if you actually view it yourself and read up on it yourself, you actually know that you're really in a different place when I call that when it comes to them politics. But locally, you definitely need to vote because like Berger was saying, you got judges, you got prosecutors, you got all of these different local officials that are in office, and a lot of people are staying at home. However, going back to the beginning, I look at this as a boxing match. If you go into a boxing match off of raw emotion, what you think gonna happen to you?
Probably gonna get your ass knocked out.
Right. So therefore, moving forward of what I'm saying, of we know all of this. We know that white boxer that we fighting, we know he got nails, he got bricks in his gloves. We know that already. We have to stop sitting there and complaining, hey man, I keep on getting a black eye because he got bricks in it. They gonna call it how they call it. They just point blank. It's like you boxing in London. If I'm saying it's not your area. So moving forward, we have to adjust. In boxing, you have to counter, you have to do all of these different things. So I'm using as a boxing analogy. Moving forward, when it comes to a black community, we have to educate ourselves. We have to stand more united. It's not like we're not staying united. That's why I use the word more. We have to stand more united, and we have to do more things to put ourselves in better positions moving forward.
All right, let me say this. Good points, brother West. Matt made a statement just now about coming to you, Matt. Come bring this to your front door about the everybody be ready for the battle. But I tell you, no, it's not even a battle. It's just something I want to address. I heard you say
Yeah. I'm with you, good brother.
We talking about a black man getting with a degree, making less. Let's talk about black period. Like a black woman makes, I think, 48 cents to every dollar a white man makes, and I think a black man makes 70 cents to everything a white man makes in this country. We got this conversation is solution based, right? It's all about solution, not about what's happening, about how can we deal with what's happening. Because that's that for me, I have to stay on target with what we're talking about, because otherwise it's going to get lost in the minutia of what we're discussing. So when I think about these black people with these degrees, this goes back to what I was talking about before. It's not happening in our time. See, I as of right now, let's look at it this way. Y'all may not like it, but this is a truth that I hold to.
Hey, Ike, I like it because it's your opinion, brother. I'm challenging Johnny heavy, but I respect what you're saying.
All right. So when you start talking about war doesn't happen overnight. War is an ongoing battle of strategies, just like a football game. It's a backwards and forward, like what moves you're going to make. So to win a game, just like we're going to talk about the Saints, not the Saints, like the Falcons blew a 28-3 lead, right? We can talk about that all the time. That's a game of strategy. This guy out-coached you. He saw where you was weak at and beat you at your own game, right? So in our community, we've been studied. We've been observed like lab rats. So anytime you look at a scientist, what they do, they introduce different stimuli into a community or to the rats to see how they're going to respond to that stimuli. And then they get the results that they want. The results are already concrete in our community already. So what we have to do is understand how to get unenchanted by the spell that has been casted upon us. And that one way, going back to these people with educations, you got to go back to your community and set up your own. See, we constantly worry about being hired by someone. We're going to always be a servant. And it's time for us, like a company that I have, and I pray that all y'all go there, it's called Black Friday Business Initiative. And the purpose of my company is to get all black businesses galvanized under one umbrella. So then we can block out anybody that's trying to come in and trying to take over our community. And when you don't control your money, you don't control nothing. And all of our money is going to their systems. All of our labor, our energy is going to their systems. All of our children are being educated through their systems. We don't have shit for ourselves, nothing. And any school that tries to open up to say, okay, we want to educate these black kids, they smash that down. But then right around the corner, you have a school that has a French exchange program. So we got to galvanize like really have meeting of the minds to come to a table and think about, okay, this is our strategy. These are the things that they say that we can't do. Let me give one more example to that. They told everybody that no bars could be open in New Orleans right now during COVID. Now you got certain bars, they go serve you some nachos and a couple of hot dogs just so they can make sure they serve their drinks. You got to find loopholes in the system because every policy is changed with another policy. That's changed with another policy. That's changed with another policy. It's a rat race that we're going to continue to fight if we stay in America. That's another question you got to ask yourself. Why are we fighting for this type of place?
Because my grandfather done built this shit. What you mean?
We did. We built the country. Really,
my grandfather done built this shit.
All right. So same thing.
Hey, Mikey. Mikey. I'm sorry. Wait. I'm sorry. I hate to say that something as salacious as that, and then interrupt. Hey, Mikey. We got to get another guest on, so we gonna get you out. But man, we appreciate your feedback, homie.
The notion that our parents formed this nation is a truthful argument. We got to understand where we are right now, and that's why I go back to what game are you playing? If you're going to stay here in this country, you got to learn to play the game.
Just introduce our guest, y'all. Like, let's introduce our guest right quick.
My bad.
We got Elvin, aka Lurch.
What's going on, brother Smith?
What's going on, Lurch?
Man, I'm cooling. I'm just listening, chiming in. You know what I'm
go
saying?
Ahead, Ike, you go ahead and finish. I just wanted to introduce him.
No doubt. So when we start talking about the system is in place for you to win, but you got to learn it. Like we're constantly playing this game without knowing the game. Yep. We don't understand economics. We don't understand home ownership. We just starting to learn that because some people went to school, right? That's why the Black Panther Party was so strong because we
just started learning it because they allowed us to. It wasn't too long ago, brother. We couldn't even learn how to read. They killed you if you knew how to read. So right. It's not that we didn't want to know it. We didn't have access to that information, and it was generational. Our great-grandfathers and grandmothers didn't have access to that generation. They had kids. So those kids grew up in the same form of the mom and dad. Like you say, I get it, but now we're breaking the cycle.
It feels crazy agreeing with Burger this much. I never have we ever did this, Burger. It's refreshing. It's refreshing.
Because that's that melanin. You know, melanin is a cluster molecule. It wants to join. It wants to bind. It wants to become one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bro. So all I say, bro, is strategize, man. And I sit home and I strategize and I plan and I think through every situation that I can think of. And I write down notes. I read books. And I'm not trying to say I got all the answers, but what I would do, I would like to sit down with other brilliant minds in closed rooms and talk about things that's going to cause change. And I'm sorry, I'm not looking for today. I'm not worrying about my first name. I'm worrying about my last name. I'm worrying about when my children are walking the earth and their children walking the earth, what did I do today that's going to affect them? Because right now we're in the midst of the shit. And we got to, excuse me from cussing on y'all show. We're in the midst
of brother, express yourself.
This that kind of show. This that kind of show.
Yeah, we're in the heat of it. So right now, we got to do extract some of the key players out, the thinkers, right? Because we are finders, minders, and grinders. You got to have people that's going to understand things, and some people that's going to make it happen. And you got to know your warrior class. The people that's killing themselves, that's our warrior class. Yeah, in the Black community, we got to train them how and where to use those guns at. Other than that, we gonna continue to have our warrior class fighting against each other. Yeah. We got to think on a different level, man.
Preach, Ike. Wait, I'm sorry, Ike. We gotta, Ike. Listen, brother.
I'm done.
It's gotta let him do not jump up and start shouting like them old ladies in church.
Water, Ike. Go get you some water.
It's Ike. Hey, Ike.
Drink you some of that water.
They about to have to throw me in E flat, Ike.
Go ahead, Lurch. We brought you on, brother. We want to hear what you got to say, man.
Really, I'm just chiming in to what y'all saying, just listening. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm one of the young educators, and I'm not too far up the street from Johnny. You know, for some of the things that Johnny was saying, you know, I was understanding what he was saying, and you know, what Matt was saying, and Isaac saying, you know, I'm really, you know, all ears to what they're saying, even though I don't know them guys, but I see this broadcast happening a lot, and sometimes I just look and just chime in just to listen. I see you guys still have for the long term of me seeing this, you guys have the same internal thinking that I have, as well as like with Journey, with the youth, as far as the youth and the teaching of the youth. And like it was saying, is only so much they will really allow you to do
I
in the
know,
classroom.
I know, I know in my class, since I've been an educator, I have taught my kids a lot about Black history. Like when you come in my band room, and I could tell you this, you see George Washington Carver, you see Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, you see all that because you know why I got it in there? Because nobody else going to teach these kids that. And you know what I do?
Exactly.
And I ask my kids, do you know who? Because those people are on a back wall. Have you ever looked at that back wall? No, they're not going to look at that because they don't think that's important. When I'm with Matt, what I'm saying is this, Matt. I understand about today. Like right now, I'm 37 years old. I can change some things, but when my children grow up, I want them to understand a lot of things that I didn't know. You understand what I'm saying, man? When these kids that I teach at the school, I want them kids to know a lot of the stuff I didn't know. So, okay, the white man, okay, white man has a bachelor's degree, a black man have a bachelor's degree. We already know the white man go get it. But I don't want this kid to stop. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Don't stop. And a lot of the time, black people get overwhelmed and we stop. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Trayvon Martin, that was messed up. But people didn't like when that dude got the verdict. Nobody was out there like that.
Nobody cared. We didn't care.
We didn't care.
Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, I'm sorry. We got to keep the show moving, brother Alvin. Wait. Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Matt, because you talked a long time. I ain't really talk.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about we got to get another guest on. I want to hear what you got to say.
Matt be cougar, dog. That's what it is. He want
That's that Kennedy in it, man.
No,
something else you want to say, Lurk?
I agree with what you're saying, though, brother.
You got something else
you wanted to add, brother Alvin?
No, other than this, I mean, I don't know for any other educators that's watching this, but something that I do in my class, and I think that's what makes me one of the more advanced younger music educators is in my class. They only don't learn music. When they come in, they learn the law and they also learn one right every week when they come in my class. So you learn music, a law, and a right. So you won't be blindsided whenever you walk outside of the door, because once you leave outside of the school and cross the seal of that door, anybody out there don't care about how much you know about music. They want to know, do you have survival skills to survive outside of the doors of this school? So that's something that I kind of implement in them and drill in their heads. So they won't just be blindsided to.
When you say survival skills, are you talking about the police want to know that they have survival skills and know this information?
No, them for themselves, so they can know the way they won't even get over on them. If they were to address them negatively in the wrong way, they will rightfully know how they are supposed to be approached by.
Do you think the cops care? Do you think the cops care when we know our rights? The cops just was about to arrest an FBI agent. Now, I would assume that brother, right, would probably know his rights. But that brother was being accosted, and he was spewing his rights at them as they were violating him. They didn't care that he knew his rights.
Can you post that last comment, Robin? Because that's what I really. That's the guy down the truth there.
But I don't want you to feel attacked, good brother. I definitely appreciate your insight. But my thing is you saying that if we know our rights, we can. They don't care when we spew this stuff at them. They don't give a damn about that. They are still killing our kids.
Not teach our kids to be successful.
Yeah, man, like that.
That's our job. That's our job. That's our job. Ain't school. A lot of what I've learned about life in general in this world, I learned it through experience.
Yeah,
and picking up books and reading books, because that's what all the knowledge is. Believe it or not, bro. I heard, they got the old saying, if you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book. It might be one of the truest statements I ever heard, but most of that knowledge is in a book. These white folks stripped us of everything we ever had, everything, and brought us here and selling it back to us, or trying to sell it back to us.
Hey, let me say this right quick.
So
I understand what she said. Like she said, school does not teach us how to be successful. But I'm gonna give you an example. Dad taught me a lot about being successful. Man, I know and how to survive and how to overcome. You know what I'm saying? That's a part of being successful. Understanding those different type of things. At Kennedy, you know, man. Being one of the things about business is being on time. That's one thing. You know what I'm saying? So I would say some things in school teach you how to be successful.
I think you taking what I said wrong, Johnny.
No,
I
I'm
think
not.
you
No, I'm
taking.
not. No, I'm not saying what you say. I'm just saying, like, from my experience, I think some of the things that I was taught has made me be on the platform that I am today.
I say this all the
Wait, let me.
time, and I
Hey,
say it
brother
as a joke.
Alvin,
I say it
brother
as a
Alvin,
joke. I've been in school.
we,
I've been out of
we
school almost 10 years now, and not one time have the Pythagorean theorem ever came in my life yet. I have never used the
you didn't need
Pythagorean
it.
theorem. I've never used it, and I jokingly
Hold on,
say
no,
that.
wait, Burger, hold on. We got to bring on the next guest. Hey, brother Alvin, man, we appreciate you. We appreciate you coming through, good brother. Like real talk.
For real, we appreciate it, Lurk,
got you
baby.
anytime.
Most
All
Peace,
right,
definitely.
peace,
Lurk.
All
brother.
right,
Peace.
man.
Good
Lurk.
meeting you,
Boys,
my
be
man.
easy, man.
Peace.
For
You know, listening to what Berger talking about, as far as what school teaches and whatnot. That's why I went back to what I was saying. One thing that school tries to teach you is how to think, right? Like how to think through a situation. That's one thing that's failing in the school system right now. They're not allowing the children to critically think. Critically thinking allows you to be able to mastermind things in front of you. Like, here's a problem, solve it. So when we start talking about our children, we have to deal with them in that capacity at home. And when we see our children, our youth can't figure out something, because let's be honest, this charter school system here in New Orleans is trash. Let's
all of it,
completely be
all
honest,
of it,
right?
all of it.
So in our awareness of that, that makes our job even harder. And the sad part about it, we got people that look like us that's at the top of the chain, right? So that when we start talking about black and whites and stuff like that, we got to talk about system, because there are black people that works in their system and happy to keep it going because it's going to keep them paid. It takes us who have to do something totally different and rebellious, because no revolution was won by people just going and saying, "Hey, I want y'all to change." If it's working for me, why would I change it? I'm getting paid. I keep your children uneducated. Listen, let me give you the plan. I keep them uneducated. They grow up as disobedient people because they can't get work because they don't have the education to do the job. They get into crime. I got a pipeline of prison crime set up already. They come out of the jail and they don't have no work, so they go into worse crimes. That's a system, man.
So,
We
Ken,
got to change that.
would you agree that we need to stop selling college to our kids and start selling the trade to them?
I would agree that we sell to our children what they're good at, because everybody
Yes.
may not be woodworkers. Some people are intelligent enough to go to college and succeed. We need doctors, we need lawyers, and we also need woodworkers. We need plumbers. We gotta like, I look at my children. I got 3 kids, and all 3 of them got different personalities, right? And when I look at each one, I know, okay, you need to go this direction. You need to go that direction. And it's my job as a parent to push them in that capacity, because I know that's going to make them successful in life. If I try to push them one way, and that's our problem, one way is the right way. It's not the one way. We got a host of issues that we got to deal with on so many fronts.
But look, we got
So I
Jared
wanna,
on here, and
man,
he's really,
my brother come on with his glasses on.
really,
It's
look,
about to be hell today.
really
He
wise
come
brother.
on looking
And
militant.
I wanted to hear what he had to say because he's really wise. At the end of the day, I really wanted to hear what he had to say.
That's all 96. That's my cry brother, man. Go ahead. What's up, Jared?
Let me know. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Turn it up a little bit. Turn it up a little bit. Sound low.
Hold on one second. Y'all can hear me a little better now?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
All right.
Can you hear us, Jared?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think most people that know me, that see me on Facebook, I'm passionate about band, and I'm also passionate about politics. So I love what you guys are talking about, because there's a root and there's a solution to what we're discussing. And I think we shouldn't lose focus of, like, that's what the topic's about, the solution. I think I brought it up like education. I want education to be brought in to think that we saying that kids need to be educated by going to high school, college, and getting a degree. That's not what I'm taking. I'm taking it as educated as knowing who you are, knowing where we came from, knowing what we did before we got to this place where we at right now. There was a time after slavery, and I always say this, but I say it broad, but I never get into depth about it, hoping that people will take what I say and research it. You know what I'm saying? I always speak about Black Wall Street, dude. Black Wall Street was the time back in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and other areas of the country where these people actually got their 40 acres in the mule that we always talk about. They got it. And when they did with it, they went ahead and developed their own towns. They didn't have no politics. They didn't have no Democrat Party, no Republican Party, none of that shit. They did for themselves. They had their own schools, they had their own hospitals, they had their own police force. And we're talking about the police. They had their own libraries, they had their own airports. They had everything. And it was a bunch of millionaires, black millionaires. The kids were very respectable. It just was a time and place that I wish we could have had more video and footage of, the snapshot to show us who the fuck we are. And that's why I always speak out against politicians that come up and tell us about a story that we need to know about black, and they always bring up slavery. Fuck slavery. Talk about how we overcame that shit. We really did. And when we overcame it, it was the government that came and tore that shit down. They burned down the towns on that.
Murdered murdered thousands of people.
Right, exactly. So my thing is, why in this time and day where we feel that we are more accepted by white people, which I don't give a fuck about, I feel that this is the perfect time to go back to that. This is the perfect time to say, you know what, let's separate economically from them. Because this is the whole thing, fellas. We give up a lot of our economic power to be worrying about politics. When you're talking about politics, you have to have money.
Got to.
We said we have economic power, but we always tend to give our money to foreigners. We'll look at Berger funny because Berger from out the third world, he come in the 17. Who the fuck is you? But we'll let Rocco and Rico, the Arabs, come in and set up shop and take all our fucking money.
Exactly.
They take our money. They take our money. They come in those stores and you see the bums go up in there. They talk to the bums crazy. They talk to the kids crazy.
And our black women too. They talk to our black women crazy too.
They talk to our black women crazy. And then what happened, they shut their shop down at 9:30 at night, right? That's when the kids roam in the streets. So just imagine if a black man owned that shop, on that corner store, whatever, he see black kids walking down the street, what he gonna do? Look at John to come up in here and take groceries to
hey Jared, you saying something really interesting. So let me ask you a question. As a black man, most of these people are starting off with loans. How do we build up the capital? Like, if let's say me and Berger and Ike want to go open up a grocery store, we want to have the next Brothers Chicken. How do you suggest me, Berger, and Ike get started? Like, I mean, basically, we three dudes, we got day jobs. So how do we pool our capital together and get this store started?
There's several ways to skin that cat you just brought up. One way that we always shy away from that's owed to us is fucking reparations. And when, like I said, when Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in 1968, 2 weeks before he got killed, he made a speech about what you're talking about, loans, about foreigners coming here after blacks built this shit and getting these fucking low interest loans to start businesses. The Vietnamese, the fucking Arabs, the fucking Chinese, this shit been going on. They've been shutting us out.
But it's not that we don't want those loans. The only loans that they will give us are for cars and houses. They're not giving us business loans.
No, they're not. They're not. But that's what I'm getting at. That's the same. You go back and listen to Dr. Martin Luther King's speech, right? 2 weeks before he got killed, he detailed very specifically what those loans was for, that they shut us out from, that they give to foreigners. That man, and like I say, it pains my soul to know that this man died fighting for that. And 2 weeks before he went to go get our fucking check, he got killed, and we never held the party that was in charge responsible. Lyndon B. Johnson was the fucking president when that shit happened, a Democrat. What we did, this man got killed trying to go fight for us, and we turned our backs on the man to keep voting for this shit. When we could simply know who the fuck we are and go back to Black Wall Street again. Like I said,
John, I was about to say, because I don't think we're gonna get the loan. So you have again, me, Burger, and Ike want to start open up a store.
I gotta reply to that.
All right,
go ahead. So I will say this: if I want to open up a store, and if it's 3 people, we can find a way to make some money.
Hey, Ike, let me paint this picture. Me, you, and Burger, we gonna open up a store. We 3 brothers. We all got kids. We all make $45,000 a year. How do we get started?
So everything goes back to planning, bro. If you don't plan, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So if you got your mind set on doing something, you got to find out where your resources are. If you need the money, either you're going to start saving, you're going to go within self, or you're going to start taking it piece by piece and start putting it towards something. Other than that, you lose. That's also the stock market that you can put your money into, and you can put $20 in and get $200 out the next day. But you got to know what you're doing. We don't use all of our tools. We got to use every tool that's afforded to us because we can't play their game. We can't play the game that they like. If we know redlining existed and still exists, we know that banks are not keeping us, not providing us loans. But there are black banks that will give you money. But we don't want to go to them because why? Because they're not all around the nation. So they're not convenient. So we got to start making some hard decisions. Let me say this. Sam Walton started off with a storefront, and somebody believed in him and invested in his company and stood with him and said, you know what? This company is going to go somewhere. Now we got Sam's everywhere, and that's employing us and treating us like shit while we there, right? What we do, somebody say, hey, I got a cupcake business. I'm about to go over here to this other spot. Walmart sell cupcakes, Rouse sell cupcakes, but your black dollars would affect that black family immediately. But we don't think in that capacity. So until we start changing our mindset on direct impact that we can do, then all this that we talking is nothing. Is it going to continue to be talking and talking? And that's why I keep saying I want to go into a room. I'm always ready. Johnny asked me yesterday, like, do you want to talk? Hell yeah, I want to talk. I'm ready to talk to anybody any day to plan and to put that plan into motion. If you ain't about them type of actions, don't talk to me about nothing. Because I'm about doers, not talkers. It's good to have talkers to get the message out, but I need somebody that's gonna put this work put their hands to the mill to start running.
Yes.
Right.
It's a real deep right now, right?
To piggyback off of that. Let me piggyback off of that. If we look at New Orleans, right? You look at and Ike, you remember this. You was at Fannie with me. If you look at Michigan, who runs Michigan?
Vietnamese.
Do the police go back there fucking with them?
Hell no, they got Vietnamese police back there.
Right, now check this out. When me and Ike was at Fannie, Ike probably could tell you, like, it was maybe like 60, 65, 70% blacks there. The rest of those people was Vietnamese. They're deep back there. Them people, and we used to always tease them because we found out they was living 11, 12, 13, 15 people to a house. But what we didn't know was these people had a storefront downstairs where they worked at, and they was living upstairs. As soon as those people downstairs made enough money, the next person in line moved out and got another store.
Yep.
You see, the thing is, we thought that shit was funny because we was ignorant and uneducated kids. But as a man, I know better now. We were stupid. Now, guess who laughing at us now? Yep. Guess who owned all them houses on Boulevard out there in the east, in them big ass houses?
But Jared, to your point, so back to the original scenario, I make me, Burger, and Ike all make $45,000 a piece, right? If I come,
what's up, y'all? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can. If we go to them, if I go to them brothers,
I don't know.
If I go to them brothers, Robin, bring him back out and bring him back on. Robin, bring him back out and bring him back on. If I go to them brothers and say, hey man, I found us a 4-bedroom apartment.
Y'all hear me?
No, yeah, but can you hear us?
But I was saying,
give me one. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Can you hear us, Rob? Can you hear me?
Robin, bring him back out and bring him back on. But if I go to the brothers Jared and say, hey man, I found us a 4-bedroom spot. You bring your family, I'm gonna bring my family, and we gonna live up in here and we gonna build. Our community, them dudes are laughing me to scorn if I said that.
Yes.
They would laugh me. Now, I agree with that thinking, but most of us, if we was to be like, man, if we moving and we saving our money, and we literally, if just the men in the house working and we all make $40,000 a year, we in 5 years, man, we done pump $500,000 into this house. 5 years is quick. That's no time. In 5 years, we didn't pump that. But how many of us actually think like that, Jared and Ike? That's my thing.
Ready for that. That's the thing. We're not mentally ready for change. That's the whole thing. It's like we don't want to accept the fact that we have to lose a lot to gain a lot. You can't.
I don't believe we're not ready for it. I believe we wasn't prepared for it, but I believe we're all ready for it. I just don't think we're prepared for it. We're all ready for it.
We have to lose.
Mentally ready for it?
No.
Yeah, we're ready for it.
We have to lose.
We're all ready for it.
We have to lose the cool mentality. That's the problem.
Right.
We got to lose like the Cheyenne mentality. It goes back to slavery. Like one slave would get a ribbon in her hair or something, and they get to shine on the other slave on Sunday. That's why you're Sunday best, right? So everything that we do, we trying to outshine the next person. Yeah. When the reality is none of this shit matters. None of the money that you make, none of the houses that you own, none of that matters if it's not wealth, because it's just something that someone else is going to acquire. Wealth is for life. It's for your family. So sometimes you got to, like the old saying, you got to stoop to conquer. You got to take an L. You got to come down, abase yourself to win. And most people don't want to win because they want to shine on everybody. But to your point, man, I ain't gonna laugh here, brother. I'm gonna say let's do it. You know, I'm gonna say just be clean. You know what I'm saying? That's all I ask for.
Right. Now check this out. This is why I asked the question, are we mentally ready? When I first got my first multi-family unit to rent out, it was several people who asked me how did I get into real estate, right? And I gave them the game. I told them how to do it, what they need to do as far as like being disciplined, getting your credit right, saving money, make sure you got enough money for your down payment, right? And once I tell them that, I ain't hear from them no more. When I got into the game, I asked the same question. I asked our friend about the A-ball, Ronald Williams. I asked him the same question. I said, man, what you had to do to get into that? He gave me a fishing rod. He didn't give me fish. My partner, he didn't give me no money. He didn't give me no property. He said, man, look, make sure he asked me, how much money you got saved up? And I told him. He said, ain't enough. You need to save up a little bit more than that. Make sure you got enough money for reserve. Make sure you got enough money for your down payment and your closing costs. I said, I bet. I went back on the mission. I ain't talked to that boy for like a year. I came back the next year. I said, dude, I said, I'm ready. You ready? All right. I'm going to point you in the right direction for real till you need to talk to get this shit started. I did that. I'm saying that to say mentally I was ready because I was tired of a lot of people looked at me and said, well, yeah, he's straight. He worked at energy. You know, to me, no, because I have goals. I know what energy was paying me. That mean I had to wake up for that shit every fucking morning. I needed an exit plan. I'm tired of being on the plantation. It looks good from the outside, you know, but at the end of the day, everybody have a different way they want to live. I want to live free. I want to be able to leave and go as I want.
Yeah, but Jared, your mind is free. A lot of us have had the ability to dream choked out of us.
Right, but check it out. Let me say this. It was a few other guys that asked me how I got started. I told them that same ingredients, that same recipe. I ain't hear back from him. It was another guy that probably had less than all of them. And y'all know him. That's my partner, Brian Gett. Brian Gett kept bugging me because I knew. At first, I thought Brian was bullshit. I'm like, man, Brian, you don't want to get into this. He kept hitting me up, brother, I need it. I really want to do this. I knew that brother mentally was ready. So because he was mentally ready, I took extra steps to help this man and got him in a position to where he's at right now, to where he's now a fucking landlord and a fucking homeowner because he was mentally ready. It's like he didn't give up on what I asked him to do. He showed me, look, I got my credit right. I got my credit. I'm ready. I got the money for the down payment. We're going to do this. I can't do nothing but help this man. So it's like, as a whole, and then you already know Brian didn't come from no silver spoon fed family. He probably saw the worst of the streets just like we did. So it's like, mentally, we have to get tired of where we at. And when I say that, I think right now, I guess with the tone of this topic that we're talking about, the solution, we all have to be tired of what's going on. We have to be tired of the status quo. We have to be tired of this fucking system that we live in.
Really tired.
Right. We have to be tired. We have to be tired.
Not just talking about it. Because that's the problem. A lot of people just
Hey, I
talk.
don't want to cut y'all off, but we got Brother Rashawn on here. And
What's up, everybody?
he didn't get to say nothing yet, so I want to let it get his words in.
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you though. This getting weird, Berg. It's a lot of Southern dudes on here. It's getting
I'm gonna
weird.
say one more. Let's take a chat out. So I'm gonna say one more thing, and I gotta go. I'm gonna say one more thing to what Johnny was alluding to, and I don't want nobody to feel like I'm pointing the finger at us. We definitely this is how I feel. This is me. I feel strongly about our black people. I love us all. I feel until, and this is not excusing what the man did to George Floyd. That's fucked up. But what I'm getting at is until we start standing up in the streets against what we're doing ourselves in our community, we are not going to see that change. We have to love each other enough to know that.
I don't agree. Because before
Jared, I hate that we got to get Rashawn in because I want to jump on that, man.
But don't wait. Don't take it out of context. I'm not saying that this excuses the other. What I'm saying that for us to see this utopia that we want to see in America, we have to take us killing each other more seriously. We can't push that off as rest in peace.
We gotta understand that until
who's saying we didn't take that serious though? The thing with that, we take crime in our community serious, but the killer and the person that listen, the justice is gonna be served regardless. If I kill you in my community, you die, I go to jail for life. So the justice system is gonna work. It don't matter. The justice system works when it's us versus us.
Berg, let's not that. Come on, Berg, you from the third wall. Man, you both know it's a lot of niggas that was walking the fucking street with 15 fucking bodies. Come on. It's a lot of niggas walking the street with 5 bodies.
But so you saying we don't go to jail?
So the more we kill, it sounds the better for them.
We show the same outrage. If we show the same outrage that we show for a white man killing a black man, niggas will feel uncomfortable killing their own. They do it because they know that we don't give a fuck. We have to show the same.
I don't agree.
You think if we, so Jared, your thing is you think if we stop killing each other, then the police will stop killing us?
No. One don't have nothing to do with the others.
Because that's what we're talking about today. We trying to stop. We talking about how do we get these fucking animals to stop killing our people?
Man, trying to tell y'all just don't want to hear what he got to say, dog.
It's all connected.
I don't agree. I don't agree. I agree with what he's saying. I agree with what he's saying. We need to do better. Listen, I share y'all disappointment in the way we treat each other. But what I'm saying is the two of those are mutually exclusive. All right? The two of those things are happening. The one is not happening. Listen, the cops, which is a spinoff of the KKK, they were originally slave hunters. Let's just keep it $1. They was doing this shit to us long before black on black crime was even a coined phrase.
Black on black crime is not real. There's no such thing as black crime.
It's not even a real thing, dude.
But let Rashawn talk. Let Rashawn talk.
Jared, we gotta let you go and get him on. Jared, when we get done with this though, brother, we gotta rap. Like, we gotta figure out a way for us all to get online and rap right after this.
I want to rap with y'all off of Facebook.
We could do that.
Yeah, I want to rap because I got some real shit I want to say. So Jared, stay close.
I've been wanting to talk since like the beginning of this, like just listening to what all y'all saying, because all y'all my big brothers, especially Ike. You know the old, we the best. You know that.
Purple baby.
You know that. You look down on Kennedy and all that other shit. Yeah, you know. Yeah. But
I like this dude, man. Damn, I like that quote he just said.
But
Robin, kick him off right quick.
Get Johnny on. Yeah, we got to get Johnny and Rashad.
Johnny, Ike, and Rashad got to go.
Oh Lord. All right. But yeah, so first of all, we can't know their history that they want us to know. We got to know our own history. We got to know that we come from kings and queens. We got to know that our natural home, Africa, has all the natural resources of the world that you could ever want. The gold, the oil, the iron, whatever. 5 of the greatest rulers of the world came from Africa. Mm-hmm. You got Imhotep, who was a pharaoh back in Egypt. You got Shaka Zulu. You got Mansa Musa. You got King Tekaminen in Ghana. Like, I could attest, like Coach Payne. Coach Payne was our geometry teacher at all. He's still there. That dude, he made us know that he let us know that every day that we gotta make sure that we right. We gotta make sure that as a black man that we are strong not only for ourselves but for our community, for our family, for us to know that we are the smartest human beings in the world. We can't let their media, their system dictate us who we are. We have to always know that I'm a man, I'm a strong, intelligent black man first before anything. And so like we were talking about everything with the George Floyd situation and all that. Yeah, all that shit is fucked up. Like, I mean, shit, I'm only 21. And shit, back then with y'all, that was seemed like that was a great accomplishment just to make it to 21. Shit, just to make it to 18.
Yeah, let me
And
say to brother
Trying to
Rasan,
get
bro.
you all. That's what we're trying to do.
It's as a 21-year-old man, bro. I look at you with these kind of eyes. I was 21 a long time ago, and I didn't know nothing. I didn't have this kind of platform. I got everything that I knew from studying,
yeah,
researching, digging, right? So, and I say that for this reason. It's your generation that go carry the torch as we move forward, right?
yeah, I know
Because
that.
my generation is we're moving into the wise old man stage, like old men are for wisdom, young men are for war. So when we starting to bring out, and when I look at generations in America, and I think about the black culture and the community, we are advancing as a people. We are making strides to get out of the system. We put like this: we're not in slavery no more. We're not in Jim Crow no more. We're not, but we do have
Well,
these political things that we hold on. Let me finish this.
oh,
We do have these things politically that we're fighting right now.
right.
That we're mad. Keep talking about these savages coming in our community. The question you got to ask ourselves, and I challenge your generation as well to ask, what can we do today that's going to show them that I ain't to be played with? And until we have that
Okay.
kind of mentality, we're gonna keep getting played with.
And what you saying that like when I kept saying earlier it was a generational cycle. It was a mentality that we have of they have succeeded in degrading us so much that we fight over simple things like who's lighter than who.
Yep.
My skin is lighter than yours, so I'm closer to the white man. I feel better. I feel more entitled. When you talking about advancement, we were already the most advanced in the world.
Yes.
But when they came to Africa from Europe, after killing each other out there and taking out and using up all their own resources, they came to us and but they came with guns. They came with some newer technology that we didn't have, or that we could have made, but
We are,
maybe
but by nature we are peaceful people.
yeah,
That's
Exactly.
But
it. That's
we
it.
we we
but
we're painted to be
we don't attack unless we are provoked naturally. If we, I don't know, it's
You see, Rasan, that's where I'm at right now. That's it. Let me say this. That's where I am as a black man. And then when I look at my community, there's two things. We are more reactive and not proactive. I don't like
yes,
being reactive to anybody that come in
because that means they already snuck me. That means I gotta no,
no,
I
it's in
need to
the
know. I need to know how to beat you already from jump before we even touch.
Y'all went to
you
St.
need
Aug. Y'all used to that.
Oh, here you go.
Yes,
Oh, this
sir.
man here.
Yes, sir.
Oh, this
Yes,
man.
sir.
Like we didn't get all the female. Like, okay, come on now.
Hey,
Come on now.
Let's get back on subject. We'll talk.
yeah, man. So when I think about what I plan to do in my life and what I do in my home, I'm gonna safeguard what I got, right? And first I'm gonna start at home, and then I'm gonna start dealing with my that circle start expanding, right? So I got to know how to take care of my house first, and that's for my health, all the way down to that Thule. I got to make sure everything is in place because if I don't, then anybody can infiltrate my ranks. And once I get my house together, then I can go to the next home and to the next home, and then we have a real community. Until then, bro, we're gonna continue to get most of us. We don't even take care of our own selves. Talking about taking care of somebody else. Like, ask yourself, the way that you live in your life right now, do you see 20 years ahead of you right now? Yep. Everybody got to ask themselves that question. Because if you don't,
and you got to honestly answer it.
You got to honestly answer because you got kids, you got a family, we got to make sure everything in our lives is in line so we can actually fight this fight.
It's an inside out battle. You have to, like you said, you got to make sure that your peace of mind, you as an individual, is straight. You got to make sure your family. You got to make them, like you said, your outside, your community. Then you can change the world. One man can change the world. I mean, all it takes is one.
You know, the FBI. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hey, I'm sorry I'm late, y'all, but I got something to say about what I've been listening to y'all. And I think it's Jared. He had something to say, and which is piggybacking off what Isaac is saying right now. Or is it Isaac? What's up, brother? I'm Darrell.
What's going on, brother? Good to meet you.
So what he's saying is we have to do it inside out. So which means exactly what Jared was saying. If we get our shit together, if we handling our shit in the hood, you know, if we handling ourselves as fathers, as husbands, you know, as a black man walking the street, making an example, then when it comes to a police officer or a white man who try to interfere, it's a lot harder to interfere with a whole bunch of brothers united.
When you solid and organized,
or you could be the most educated, most wealthy, most upstanding black man that is. You are not exempt from getting your ass shot down like a dog in the street from the police. So don't get into it.
Yeah, thank you, Burger. You beat me to it. Hey, wait, I'm sorry, Stone. We gotta get the next guest on, bro. So we thank you for your feedback, and man, we gotta have you on
it, Rock, baby. Appreciate that.
Purple. Rise
Baby
purple.
Rock. Oh God, stop
grown
it.
Men repping the color purple. It's 2020.
Purple, patent leather shoes, Burger. That's ridiculous.
That's all right.
Hey, y'all, we got brother Anthony on here. I want to introduce him to y'all. He got something
That's an angel right there.
Could y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, bro.
We hear you.
Hey, on, baby. Hey, Pride, you heard me? No mercy, no excuse all day. You heard me to the bone gristle. You heard me?
Robin, kick him out. Kick him out, Rob.
Well, I know somebody from. Go ahead, and
where you went, Burger?
He went to club.
You went to club? Patty.
Unfortunately, I'm repping my school to the end, though. That's not why we here.
It's but man, I mean, y'all saying so much. Y'all giving so many good nuggets, bro. So dropping so many jewels, man. It's phenomenal to just even see our black brothers even having this conversation, and you guys are educated young men. You guys are leaders. I can tell you leaders, you know. And I'm truly impressed, man, and I'm proud of y'all, even though I don't know all y'all. You feel me? I really only know Johnny. You feel me? But again, I think what everybody is saying is all the same side of one coin. You know, it's the different sides of the same coin. Because if we're talking about change in terms of politically and how to affect the cops from killing us and everything else that's going on, it's again the same side of the same coin. Us as part of it is us conducting ourselves well in public, more of, you know, so when a white person see you, an Asian person see you based off what you're doing, their mindset changes about black people and black men based off seeing what you do, you know.
Exactly.
It also goes into whether they're a cop, whether they're a teacher or anything, but it's also systemic as well. And there's some people are already products of being programmed of that system. So it takes a lot of deprogramming in order to reprogram yourself. A lot of us got to destroy it within ourselves, our mindset, how we look at the world, how we treat people. You destroy a lot of bad habits and then rebuild. Sometimes we get too grown to take baby steps. You feel me? And it's sad, you feel me, because we like I think I forgot what gentleman said it, but we have the power to change this. Yes, we can change it. yes, it's being changed. You feel me? The only thing is, like somebody else said, I think Isaac said it, you got to start with yourself. Even Michael Jackson said it. You feel me? You got to start with you, and part of it starts with you. It's not only when we talking about building our house is part of a foundation, right? You dig? You have to have a foundation of understanding how things work in the world, period. And we live in a society where everybody wants everything right now because we got push button society. You feel me? You think it, you can Google it. You know, we used to didn't live like that, but it represents a different mindset that people don't understand. Anything you're trying to change in life, you have to plant your seeds, you have to cultivate it, and then you reap your harvest. Too many people want to go from plant to harvest. You know, just like with this political thing. Again, we talk about in 2020. This is harvest season. You feel me? The seed was planted back in slavery days and everything else. You know how long? Did you see how long it takes for real change to happen in the world? You feel me? All these years. That's the reality of how real change happens. You feel me? So it's important that people have that understanding. So your principles are not off. So when you feel like that, hey, you don't see the change happening. Oh, we don't have, the police ain't stop killing people 6 months from now, and they have more things happening. It's gonna continue to happen. You can't give up. You can't say, hey, you know what? Fuck all that shit. Ain't no change happening. I'm not about to keep on doing this shit. You feel me? You see Reverend Al Sharpton, his sermon today, he said he been doing this shit since he was shitting Pampers. And he's still talking about the same shit. We got to actually stand for this shit. You feel me? If we going to try to make a change, we can't expect, results based off of, false expectations. And at the same time, we're talking about building ourselves. We have to stop letting, we have to, again, train ourselves to understand the global scale of how things work. You feel me? Too many of us in the hood, we don't have, like you said, we don't have the right mentors and stuff like that to help us understand how the world works. I don't give a fuck if you did just come home and you just did 20 years, you feel me? And you just back in society, you confused, you don't know what the fuck's going on. There are ways that you can really, kind of get on a up and up, not in a traditional sense of going to school, getting a good grades and getting a good job. Nigga, you can if you haven't lost your ability to learn, you feel me? Your ass can learn how to flip houses, nigga. They ain't gonna ask you for no background check, nigga. You wanna make a quick 20 G's, nigga? Go wholesale some houses. You heard me? I don't care what your background is. You don't have to, you don't have to just be stuck. We're stuck because we choose to be stuck. A lot of niggas are lazy. They don't want to learn nothing new. You heard me? They want to keep on doing this.
With that being said, a lot of us are not. Okay, hold on. A lot of us are lazy. Some of us are not. A lot of us came up because several things happened good in their life.
Right.
A lot of us weren't privileged to go to St. Aug. A lot of us weren't privileged enough to have and wear sweater breasts with our name embroidered in purple. A lot of us weren't privileged to that. A lot of us.
I gotta stop.
We can talk about it later. But I never. We talking about something. I'm just speaking the privilege. I'm speaking the privilege. A lot of it's too much emotionalism, brother. Okay, a lot of us. A lot of us want. Okay, but seriously though, some dudes. Some of us, man, made it because we had great support systems. We had parents and stuff pushing us. A lot of these dudes got it out the mud, though. A lot of these dudes.
I understand it. I got it out the mud. You heard me? Ain't nothing was ever given to me. You heard me?
I'm not saying anything was given for you. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that brothers that went to the school where they wear the pattern of the shoes and that kind of thing. I'm not saying that those brothers didn't work for what they had. What I'm saying is I have partners that went to certain schools that will remain nameless, that came from certain areas. Mm-hmm. Man, they were just underprivileged. They were a product of what they saw.
This is all I see. This is the only way I see out. I understand about this plan that you have that might take a year, 2 years, 6. My family needs to eat tomorrow.
Right.
And so when we say a lot of brothers is lazy, that stirs something up in me. Because again, we blaming us for a system that's created for us to fail, brother Tony.
But listen, when I say lazy, I'm not saying that they're lazy in terms of, don't want better. You feel me? But again, let me put it like this. I don't know if you ever heard of the story of the dog and the nail. You feel me? There was this old man. He used to go every day. This man would jog past this old man, and he's sitting on a porch in a rocking chair, right? And every day, this man would pass for almost 20-some years. He would just pass every morning and ask him why. The dog would just be howling on the damn porch all the damn time, all the time. He just sit there and holler and holler and holler and holler and holler. And one day the man decided to stop and actually asked this old man, why is this dog always hollering? You feel me? He sat there and asked the man, he's like, why the dog always hollering? The old man said, because he's sitting on a nail. You feel me? And that's how society and what most people are. You feel me? I don't care what your situation. A lot of us are sitting on nails and hollering about this and this and all the problems of the world and everything else. And he said, so why don't the man ask the old man, why don't he just get up off the nail? And the old man told him, because he ain't hurting hard enough. You feel me? He ain't hurting bad enough. Let me hurt, but we ain't hurting.
Perhaps all the brother know is pain. Perhaps all the dog knew is pain. Perhaps he didn't know it was a better life.
But listen.
We all have the power of decision, dog. We have the power of decision. You can't blame everybody else or blame society. You can't blame your childhood. Everybody, it's easy for people to blame and be lazy and say this and that.
Listen, brother Tony.
Lazy, bro, if that's all they saw, you know what? Michael Jordan.
Growing up in New Orleans, was, you feel me, was a lot of killing.
Listen, brother Tony, listen.
I didn't have any successful people that was just in my inner circle to emulate and everything like that. We all was product of the struggle. You feel me?
I keep seeing people talk about unity. I keep saying everybody holler about unity, and we're not ready to unite. But I can prove y'all wrong. This show right here, these comments right here, there's a lot of people on here that's ready to unite. So don't tell me that we not ready to unite. When I see these brothers right here, and these countless, and it start with us. This is where it's gonna start at. It's gonna start with this. It's gonna start with these people in these comments. That's why when we make those excuses.
I'm sorry. Wait, Berger. I'm sorry. We got to get more guests on. My bad, man. I'm just not seeing that.
Peter, we got to get some more guests on, bro.
All right, my last thing I really want to say, bro, is really about money, man. When y'all talking about opening a business and stuff like that, there are basic principles to, like you say, if you have no money or whatever, and you want to start a business, you have an idea, there's a such thing as intellectual property rights. You feel me? Your idea alone or whatever it is, you can protect that with a patent. If you're trying to get a brand new business off the table, how you structure it is important. Whether you structure as an LLC, a sole proprietorship, an independent LLC, all that matters. You feel me? Depending on what your goal is and what your business plan is. So, and another key that I've learned is not to use my own money. Use other people's money. And one of the way that's how the rich get rich. They don't all just start off with money or anything like that. Again, it goes back to mindset. Some people don't have money and say, hey, oh shit, I can't do this or this or that. But
look, then brother, I don't want to cut you off, bro, but we're gonna have to move on because I got a bunch of people trying to come on. And then they say, have that much time.
All right, thank you for coming on, brother Tony. Appreciate you, bro.
Right, for sure, y'all be good.
But just to say, we talking about this money thing, and I hate to say this, but you got to come from that to have that. Donald Trump said something that blew my mind, and people made it seem like he just dropped a jewel. The man said I got a small $1 million loan from my dad as a teenager. How many of us could say that we got a small $1 million loan from anybody in our family to fuck it up?
But that's bullshit. You don't have to come money to have money.
So hold up, Burger. What are you doing right now to better your when you die to set your kids up to have money? What are you doing right now?
I'm doing something that nobody in my family has ever done, working towards owning a home.
But you starting that, right?
Yeah.
It's starting with you, right?
Right.
Well, you doing something. You see what I'm saying?
But that's not what I grew up used to. I grew up, my mom rented, her mom rented. So that was the cycle.
When you know better, you do better.
Exactly. When I had kids,
but if you don't know no better, you don't do no better though.
My point exactly.
Some people are not receptive to know better though.
Yeah, but you saying some people. You saying some people, just like the brother that just got off, Johnny. I don't like when dudes like that. Well, I don't want to say dudes like that, but when cats come and say, "Man, black people lazy." What the hell you mean? Are y'all serious? Some people not receptive. Those kind of talking points are the talking points that white people use to typecast. Look what the black dude said. They said they lazy. That's bullshit. I can't hear. Wait, you got to talk one at a time.
Hold on. Slow down, Johnny. We can't hear you.
What I'm saying is, you know what? It's like when people say something, you're not saying all. But you know, if you gotta start taking some accountability of what some black people do, though, we think people are making excuses. Like, and I'm saying that because of this. I am in the school system. I am trying to educate our black. Some black people don't want to hear that. Some black people don't want to hear it. So
Johnny,
you can't make no excuse. You can't make no excuse for somebody that don't want to hear it, dog.
Johnny, I'm a pillar. I'm a pillar of my community. I work every day. I live the American dream, and I still get racially profiled by the police. So what I'm asking, that's what I'm asking. What do we do to stop that? You keep blaming us.
No,
that's not stopping that.
We want to hear from Sean. Say, y'all, we want to hear from Sean. Let's hear from Sean. Let's hear what Brother Sean got to say.
Quick before Sean go to what Berger said. You say you got to come from that to get that. That is not
That's
true.
not what I said. That's not what I said. And y'all taking my words and misconstruing them. I don't like that. What I'm saying is everybody wasn't fortunate to have parents or grandparents that were fortunate to let them fuck off $1 million as a teenager and then turn around and say it was a small loan of $1 million. That was the point I was making.
So just because you didn't get $1 million, you're gonna settle for what the hood gonna bring. Why not work to get your own $1 million?
Don't. What are you talking about? That's not what I said. You listening to respond. You're not listening to understand, and that's the problem. Most people want to listen to give a response and not listen to understand. That's not what I said.
So I'm sorry. Wait, y'all. We got to let Brother Sean talk. Hey, Sean, I want to introduce. This is my brother Sean, man. I really want to hear what insight this brother has to add. Thank you for coming on, bro. The Alliance.
My first point of all is I've never known a dog to live 20 years.
Yeah, me neither. But it be like that sometimes.
Never seen a 20-year-old dog in my life. All right. What I wanted to say is I wanted to piggyback off something that Ike said earlier. And he said that well, hold up. I'm gonna go off this one. Generational curses and generational wealth. We got to break generational curses. And when I say generational curses, it's our people saying, I wanna go and get my Section 8 voucher. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm building towards instead of owning my own stuff and working towards financial freedom, stuff like that. My second thing is curriculum matters, bro. Curriculum really matters because in our public schools, we are being taught as status quo. There are not many trades being taught. You lucky to get a wood class in New Orleans public schools. You know what I'm saying? And that type of stuff allows these kids to have other options, because every child doesn't want to go the academic route. Like Ike said, you got to go with what these kids are good at, man. And another point, I'm just giving some quick points. These brothers that's in the hood that's selling drugs, they possess more than they know. They possess the entrepreneurial trait. Because guess what? If I can go and buy some work, flip it, and then re-up, I can do the same thing on a legal scale.
Yep.
Saying I can go and buy properties. I can go and buy X amount of this, X amount of that, and do it the right way because I possess that trait. But nobody's taught them to say, all right, you possess the entrepreneurial trait. You can use it towards your good instead of using it to your detriment. You know what I'm saying? So what do y'all think about that?
Let me talk on. I want to make.
Go ahead,
Let me make a few points. I want to respond to Sean and to stay on task. One thing that we keep talking about over and over and over, like, is a system. It's a system. We got to really understand there's a system. So all of us, I would say, at some level, are musicians or have learned how to play an instrument. You didn't jump on your axe winging. You have to go through a process to get good at what you learn. You needed a mentor to teach you how to get good at what you're doing. And then what you continue to do was practice and practice and practice until you got good at what you was able to do. We right now act like we want something to happen overnight, and that don't happen when you start talking about reform and change. We're dealing with a system that's affecting us, that's designed to cripple us. So now that we are aware of that, the next thing to do is to fight against the system, right? So there's different ways that you can fight. You can claim sovereignty. You know, sovereignty is like, I'm not under y'all system no more. I'm gonna claim I am my own human being. I don't want to be a part of none of this that y'all have, but I am sovereign to this land. I was born here. That's a right that you have. Most people don't understand those laws. So when I go back into what we're talking about, what was the last thing you said, Sean? The last point you brought out? I want to address that.
About the curriculum? Oh, no, the entrepreneurship?
Yeah, drug dealers. And this is one of those topics that a lot of people don't want to rock with me on, but I don't really care. But throughout society and throughout life, it was the drug dealers, the people that were selling hooch and all the other stuff that funded the black community to get where it was going. So you got to educate people on what the big picture is. So a lot of people don't understand the big picture, so they fight the small problems. When you start understanding big picture, then you understand, okay, this is my role to get us from out of this situation. Most people that have lost hope, they lost hope because no one has taught them. They haven't seen anything else. But when you, like, if I gave you chicken every day of your life, you think chicken is the greatest thing to slice bread. But if I gave you, that's all you've been exposed to. But when I expose you to something else, now you have a choice to say, okay, I like steaks and I don't like chicken. So our problem is not laziness. Our problem is not that we don't want to do. Our problem is lack of exposure. And like right now, one of the things that I have with Black Friday Business Initiative is shadow a business owner. Because what I believe is that if you don't see it, you can't be it. It's just like you got to see someone doing something. Because what I mean by that, in your house, you heard mom and daddy saying, I got to go to work. I got to go to work. So you was trained from a child to say, I got to go to work. Unless you had the entrepreneurial spirit in you that say, I'm not working for nobody. So what I want to do, what I've done, I put people that are business owners in front of teenagers. So now these teenagers can learn what it means to be a business owner, how to go out there and hustle, what it means. I can get a beam, I can get a vet, I can get a brand new house. The same thing that the drug dealer got, but I did it the right way. And now I can see how to do it. Now I have a plan, and I'm gonna teach you how to write a business plan. I'm gonna teach you how to be legal. We're not showing our kids that. What are we showing them? How to be cool, how to be hard, how to be flashy.
We all not showing our kids that. The TV showing them that.
That's what I'm talking about. It's our job to protect them from that.
Let me tell you one thing.
Wait, we gotta let the next guest on, Sean. You have anything else you want to add, brother?
Yeah, I want to say one more thing. So I'm gonna tell you what I did. my kids were going to the best public schools down here, right? I live in the Jackson area. So I checked out the curriculum that they were getting. I took them out of the best public schools down here and put them in the charter school. Right now today, my 13-year-old daughter, my 12-year-old daughter, and my 7-year-old son know how to program computers.
Wow.
At an alarming rate. You know what I'm saying? So it's really, we have to pay attention to what we putting into our kids, man. Because if we allow them to sit there, get that status quo learning, and then it's a black charter school. A lot of people condemn charter schools for one, but it's a black charter school. They teach them about Black history 24/7, and they're getting trades at a all I'm gonna say, man.
Hey, I got something to say about that, and it's important. It's important because, like I told, we had a little meeting. I got a brother and a sister-in-law who go to school in St. Tammany Parish, a private school, and they don't know who Martin Luther King is because they're not teaching this in schools. So that's one big problem. So if I don't know that, no, we were no, this was done to us back in the day. This was done to us back in the day. I'm gonna be void to it when it happens. Because I'm like, oh, this is brand new. So if we can get it done in the education first, we can move forward in the real life.
Yeah,
let me
call them out, Sean.
Hey, let me say this real quick. My point is being constantly misrepresented.
Exactly, Vanetta. Exactly.
I'm not saying. Wait, first off, I'm sorry, Sean. We gotta let the next guest on, man. Thank you for coming through, bro. Like real talk. I appreciate it.
Hey, man.
Blessings your way, King. Say, my point is being misrepresented. I'm not saying that I don't share y'all's disappointment and some of the ways we behave. I'm not saying I don't think that we need to step it up. I'm not saying I don't think we need to be more unified. I'm not saying I don't think we need to be more educated. I am saying how much of this stuff is going to lead to these bastard ass cops stopping killing people with kinky hair. That's what I'm saying. What can we do to prevent that? Because again, I hear a lot of blaming us. And people keep saying like, man, he got a point. Like I'm trying to discount. I think all of y'all have spoken truth. My only issue comes when we don't lay the blame where it lies. When we blame without doing so, when we blame us for the atrocities that are bestowed upon us by these fucking animals that, by the way, are part of organizations that were created to do just what they're doing. This is what they did from inception. Exactly. That's where my quibble comes in. Okay. Exactly. So I don't want my point misrepresented. That's what's been happening. I think y'all are right. I just think none of this is the solution to the issue we're having with us being murdered like animals.
So what is the solution? I know I got a solution that you got already.
You ain't listening. We talking about.
I got a solution. I got a solution. But I'm letting y'all run it.
I want to introduce Brother Abdul, y'all. I want to introduce Brother Abdul.
I've been sitting back listening, man, and anybody that knows me,
yes, Lord.
This is something that I've lived. I've lived this. Like what everybody is making right now is something that's viral and fashionable. This is something that's been a lifestyle. I'm not perfect with it, but this is something that has been a lifestyle. And I've even been ridiculed about it, but that's no here or there. I'm gonna stick to the subject. I think one of the main things that needs to be implemented and was a big problem is that instant gratification plays a main role in a narrative. And when propaganda takes place, it shifts the narrative to people. So Matt, basically the problem that you're seeking out is it lies within propaganda and people not literally seeking the real narrative, because history is basically what it says. is his story. These white people, for the longest, have rewritten and tried to wash their sins away. A bunch of times, like I've helped a student, one of my family members, with history, and she's in a history book, and the history book literally stated that the Spanish was helping the African people migrate to America. Migrate? That narrative, just that narrative. We don't see enough. We don't see enough to shift the narrative where we value ourselves. And that's a major problem. So I'm gonna get out of here real quick. There's 3 shows that are very entertaining, but they're very fulfilling with what we're speaking of right now. The main one is the show that's called Watchmen. I heard Jared speak about the Tulsa, Oklahoma bombing with Black Wall Street. That show is the first time I've ever seen them depict that imagery where I can literally see it. I've seen that literally. So the very first scene of that show is them depicting KKK members and white people running through Tulsa, Oklahoma on the strip where Black Wall Street was. And this is way back in when they didn't have like real fighter jets, where it was 2 men in a jet. One man was steering the jet, the other dude was lighting a dynamite and just throwing it on buildings. And there's never been a time where people don't even know that happened. So shifting the narrative and really understanding the narrative of where we come from and what we're capable of doing. Because if you don't see that you're capable of doing something, they're going to keep
You'll never do it.
Different demographics with different people. Because Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Biggie and Tupac, same thing, different demographics. That old saying of what people say is not who you shoot. I mean, it's not how many you shoot, it's who you shoot. Fear is the main propaganda tactic that they use. Fear. Anything and any nigga that live in this world that say they're not fearful of something, there's something that I'm fearful of, because I'm fearful of either being or not being. The fear of doing or not doing. You have a fear, period. And that's where propaganda plays a major role. The second show is Snowfall. Snowfall is about the real Rick Ross, not this dude that's on television with I respect the dude what he had like the entertainer, but the real Rick Ross was a real man who was funding drugs from the government that put crack cocaine in our neighborhoods. The very first scene of that show is a black neighborhood, looks so beautiful in Cali. There's kids running around. Everybody is in a neighborhood where they're delegating responsibility and doing stuff in their own neighborhoods. And then crack came, and that whole narrative shift. When these kids out here on meth and on Percocets, now it's that it's their kids. It's a problem. It's an epidemic. We need to start. We need to
got commercials and shit.
Narrative needs to be shifted. Yeah. Johnny knows I talk about this all the time. We gotta stop blaming ourselves fully.
Come on, not talk that shit.
What black man owns a plane that can put and bring crack and bring heroin and bring that shit in our neighborhoods?
Exactly.
Hallelujah.
When I'm a real man. I smoked weed before. I was probably it is what it is. When crack hit our neighborhoods, they didn't know that it was gonna tear the neighborhoods up like it was. They thought it was just like weed. Let's smoke, get out, let's party. But then when everybody started falling off, it's too late now. You are addicted. And the narrative needs to be shifted. The blame needs to be pointed at the motherfuckers who knew when they were testing and using us as lab rats over there in the wars. The Tuskegee
experiment. Yeah, say that.
Was lab rats for not just drugs, but even for diseases.
STDs.
Let's educate ourselves. When I went to college,
let's rap. Yes.
When I went to college, my dad gave me a box of books. The main 3 books, I'm gonna give y'all this knowledge. Let's drop it. A Letter to the Black Man. You need to read that book. Beheld a Pale Horse by William Cooper. It's written by It's written by a white man. But guess what? My dad calls this man that all the time. That is George Bush's kryptonite. Because if you like, man, see, Ike was on it too, man. It's certain stuff. I'm about spitting this knowledge because I don't care. They know who I am. They know whose I am. I'm very aware. We just need to start holding ourselves accountable for the parts that we play. But definitely point the finger and call them out, because acceptancy is the main problem right now. Acceptancy. There was a code at one point. We don't live by codes no more. Everybody is like we teach in a school system. You can't tell a child nothing without their parent being like, you can't tell my child nothing. No, it take a village. So that's where it starts, dog. We gotta realize that we don't have no help. They're not gonna help us. That's the way it is.
We gotta help ourselves. Listen,
literally have like it's about us. And the main one more thing before I get out of here, I don't want to be too long because I can spit for days.
Yeah, you know you be out there.
The whole thing is we have to start realizing analogies like this help me out in life. With life as a human being, we're nothing but a grain of sand on a beach. Everybody then, for the most part, has been to a beach, right? When you leave the beach, how much sand you bring with you in your car, on your clothes, on the shit you brought with you? But is that beach still there? That beach is going to continue to be a beach. So we got to realize that what we're doing, Malcolm X knew that I was going to die, but my kids was going to be all right. And that's the one thing as another fear tactic that is anybody that knows all of these, the Bilderbergs, J.P. Morgan, the Morgan family, the Rothschilds, all of these people are ex-gangsters and mob boss.
The
They're
Kennedys.
glorified.
Yeah.
They're glorified, but the moment that is somebody that is the descent of us, they're taught self-hate. There's so many people that we ridicule and we downplay that are for us, dog. That's literally doing stuff for us. Another thing, like smart. I keep saying I'm gonna get out of here, but dog, Beyonce and Jay-Z, dog. I hear a bunch of people talk about how they doing what they doing and how they do it, but you got $1,000 problems and trying to really speak on $1 million and $1 billion situations. And these people are making moves to shift the narrative for us. Mm-hmm. They're teaching generational wealth and showing us the whole thing that Beyonce did on Coachella. The main thing that whole thing was about, though, was showing that we need to give back and stop sending our kids to them damn Ivy League schools. Why? And then she exposed something that I know a lot of people wasn't aware of. Spelman, let's go. Spelman is a HBCU school that's named after one of the most richest, notorious families in America.
Yep.
How many black people went in and protested to change that shit? You know what they're gonna do? The same thing they did when Marcus Garvey was here. Marcus Garvey gave us a whole blueprint on how to get the fuck. Let's take all our lawyers, teachers, doctors, everything. We built this bitch. Let's get the fucking go back. You know what there was them people that did? Just like the people that's gonna be on June 7th. We got one day. All we have to do is start practicing somewhere. Mm-hmm. June 7th, they're gonna be one motherfucker that say, man, I gotta go get my gall, you heard me? I gotta go get my bottle. I gotta go get my this. It's just one day. Practice self-economics. One day.
Hey, can you explain what June 7th is before you go?
So June 7th right now is a day where is
17th.
Oh, my bad, it's July 7th. I said June 7th.
What's about
on July 7th is a mass text that's going out. My mama texted to me, but it's something that has been an idea for me for the longest. And we need to be more proactive with that instead of waiting till shit happens. So let me stop rambling. On July 7th, do not spend your money nowhere. When I say nowhere, nowhere. Don't fucking, for it to be America, we are Americans. You have to have workers and Americans. Do not spend your fucking money. I'm gonna share this, and they could do what the fuck and say what they.
Wait, hold on. Hey, Abdul, we gotta let on the next guest.
All right, hold on, wait.
Okay, do me a favor. Can
What's
you
up?
drop this information in the comments on the chat?
I got you.
All right. Hey, Abdul, I want to chop it up with you. I want to chop it up with a few of y'all though when we get off of here.
I just want to say
Bill Cosby.
Yourself included, brother.
I just want to say one thing. Ike and our dude, Ike was my drum instructor when I first started at A, and our dude is my current drum instructor. This is the type of knowledge that is being shared at Iverson. We have debates. Let me tell y'all something. We have debates. Y'all don't know.
Stop recruiting.
We really have debates. Like, I guess we get into it. We start like we really have debates. But at the end of the day, the stuff that we preaching them kids needs to be heard.
All right, Bill Cosby, it was good having you on the show, man.
Yeah, whoever said that?
That was Ike.
That was Ike?
Yeah.
Bro,
I know you want to leave me. I refuse to let you go. Have the face ass.
Boy, why you letting the mushrooms off of my room,
brother? Hey, good seeing you, brother.
All right, I do.
Please, bro.
Hey, blessings your way, King.
That dude.
Hey, Johnny, how the hell you around all these talented, wise brothers, and you still an ignorant Negro?
Gee, that is the problem right there.
You've been around Abdul and Isaac.
Let me tell you something.
Wow, what's that, baby?
What's that, Mr. Cheeto?
We got the kid in this bitch, you heard me?
Man, fuck the key.
We got the bitch, you heard me? Hey, I was there when we took St. Nard off the map, you heard me?
Oh, good.
So
fuck that all too.
But look, that's the school I went to, but my education came from the world, you heard me? But before it came from the world, it came from my grandmother and my mama and my mama. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about like my great grandmother. You know what I'm saying? But this the thing, bro. Ignorance of the law and history is no fucking excuse. And the reason why I said that, bro, because not too many people read the Constitution. Not too many people deal with the Bill of Rights. Not too many people deal with the federal papers. Not too many people go over the so-called amendments of the United States. And what they're doing is, bro, I hear everybody keep on saying about the motherland, Africa. Let me tell you something, bro. The whole motherfucking earth is our mother.
Straight up.
You see what I'm saying? Just doesn't mean just for one continent. You see? Because I can go back to my family history. My family history on the matrilineal side is Yamasi and Shatta. You know what I'm saying? And then on my mama father's side, they are Moors from Spain. You know what I'm saying? Last name Bartholomew, which became one of the strongest families in Louisiana. I had a great cousin who passed away, was the great trumpetist, David Bartholomew. Most of all my family built the houses in the 7th ward, 8th ward, and the 9th ward. You heard me? You dig? But see, what they're not doing is, once you be confined in the Christian school system, they only give you so much of information. You see, I've been to Tulane University and Loyola, and I bust their professor's ass. Mama D, if y'all know who Mama D is, the heart of the 7th ward, she brought me to Tulane when they had a brother was talking about constitutional law, and I bust his ass because we talking about, the 14th Amendment. I said, tell the people how the 14th Amendment made so-called Negro, blacks, colored, or African American, which is the same fucking thing, second-class citizens. He was like, I was like, yeah, tell them the truth, because the only person that was dealing with the United States Constitution that was a first-class citizen, don't take my word for it. They said you had to be a white male at the age of 21 with owning slaves. Their own white women couldn't vote. So what the fuck do that tell you? But see, they're not going to tell us that. And another thing that they're not telling you is that when the United States became a corporation in 1871, In 1933, they had the Bankruptcy Act. Don't take my word for it. I hear a lot of people talk about economics, but right there, in that Bankruptcy Act, it says that the United States has been bankruptcy and they didn't have no money. So what the fuck we got in our pocket? You got people them talking about they lose homes. Hold on. You go to the closing of the act of sale, you're paying for the house, and then I go to the meeting that was at Corpus Christi because it was talking about raising up the people property taxes in New Orleans. Here you have people that been there for 8 decades. 8 decades, meaning at 80 years of age. They're crying like, what I'm gonna do because they want to raise taxes up. They told the people the taxes be 21,000, 14,000, 10,000. So you know what I said to Mr. Williams? I said, what about the people who have the property lien on there, right? Who actually have the title to their house, not a mortgage, but I'm talking about a land patent. He was like, what you mean with a land patent? Everybody started looking up what a land patent is. When you have a land patent on your land, you own the land. But everybody been talking about owning the house. You can own the house all you want, but if you don't pay taxes on your house, they come and get your shit. You want to own land. Land is fucking equity. And that's what nobody's not talking about. You can buy all the houses you want, but if you don't own that fucking land, you ain't got shit.
I mean, that's some good stuff right there, brother.
That's some good information.
I know it's kind of hard, but don't take my word for it. Anything I said, you can go look that shit.
Paul, Pie Tomb, you know I know
I just wanted to leave y'all with that.
Pie Tomb, Cheeto Pie, you know, man, we go way back. You can hear me?
I can't hear you, Isaac.
I can hear you.
But I can't hear you though.
He can hear you. He can hear you. What you about to tell him?
Just basically, you know, me and Pa Toon, we go back some years, and we've always got into conversations that dealt with sovereignty, with A for V, except for value, about the government system, the financial system. We talked about all those things.
I can't hear you, Isaac.
I'm talking to everybody else.
He talking to everybody else, he said. He said, if you
he went to Kennedy. He froze it. Yeah, he went to Kennedy. So let him go, man.
Yeah,
get the next guest.
I can't hear you.
He said you went to Kennedy. We might want to let you go.
Kennedy people come with them janky ass like systems. You got to have something that work. You know,
the fucking track phones.
Yeah,
this dude Yoshi got to be stopped, dog. Like,
no, this man, bro. Yo, somebody kick Yoshi off, bro. He gotta go.
Nah, but kick Yoshi out.
Hello, Yoshi gotta go, bro.
Yeah, I mean, out of everything we've been saying, bro, for this show, I mean, and I've been listening to y'all even while I was at work. There's one solution that we all refrain from, and then I'll say it at the end of the show because everybody not on with the same way I am, so I'll wait till the show so everybody can get their point across. But I think it's one solution. And that solution is above all.
You got time. We about to bring on the next guest.
We want to hear what's that one solution. We want to hear that.
Yeah, I want to hear that too.
That one solution is the kingdom of God, and everybody not gonna believe it, and everybody not gonna agree with it. But that's on them, and I can't make you agree with it. But if we all seek the kingdom of God first, we shall perish.
I agree with that, but
we should be set free.
You may not believe as I believe, and Johnny may not believe as I believe, and Ike may not believe as I believe.
Exactly, and that's why I said
so.
That.
How do we? But let me also say this about your Bible.
Let us introduce Sister Vanetta right quick, like Sister Vanetta, light skin.
Hey, before we move forward, I want to hear what Matt got to say about that.
Wait, your Bible though, your Bible says that God reigns on the just as well as the unjust.
Right.
So why are we the only ones getting this level of hell rained down on us? I'm kind of out on churches in general. I mean,
the reason why it happens to us, Matt, because they know who we really are. And they don't have to find out who we really are.
Hey, but look, Matt, you could be out on the churches, but you don't have to be out on God. You know, you
I'm
could.
not out on God. I love God.
Okay, yeah,
Period.
perfect. I just wanted to verify that. I'm out on
Yeah.
churches too. I don't. I'm starting to, go further and further. But if we all, I think to me, if we all seek the kingdom and know exactly
Got
what He has
feedback.
for
Somebody
us,
got feedback.
That's Vanetta.
Hey y'all.
just mute your phone right quick, Vanetta.
Okay.
That's
All
Vanetta
right,
phone?
that's better. Yeah, that was Vanetta phone. And like I was saying, if we all, and it's not a church thing, if we all seek the kingdom and know what the Bible says and know what He said we should do and what we should have, we won't have a problem. Even with all that's going on in this world, you know, there's still one God, and there's one God above. And what the white man do, that's on him. And when he go see the man, that's on him. What I do, I'm gonna see the man. It's still we still not have to accept it, but at the end of the day, seek the kingdom of God, and we all gonna perish at the end of the day.
Let me say something to that before you. I'm gonna have some pushback on that, and the reason
Okay,
why I push back on that, and it's not like a hard push.
gotcha. I got you.
Everybody walk in their own truth, and to throw an umbrella that everybody have to do something, you've already separated everybody because they got Muslims. What happens on the front line? The police officers, they're not gauging their gun just to Muslims or to Buddhists or to Christians. They're gauging it to blacks. So we have to learn to bring our differences to the table spiritually and relax those for a moment. Keep your relationship with your God, whatever that may be. That's between you and your God. But our biggest cause on this planet, we have to unify it, cross religious lines. We have to, and political lines, and any other lines, feminine, masculine, homosexual. We got to cross all of those lines because the more we divide it, the more we go stay separate. We got to kill that notion, bro, because that's how we push people away. Because just imagine this, and I'm not attacking you. I'm only saying you made that statement, and they got somebody that's online that's a Muslim. How you think they feel now? They feel like, what? I'm not a part of this movement because that's not the way I'm going. And that's the problem we have. We got to bring everybody together.
Because before you say what you gotta say, then we gotta pray to your God. Then I feel ostracized. I don't know. Let me tell you something else. Your Bible also says, Darrell, first natural, then spiritual. What are the natural solutions to this?
Hey, let's talk about let's get our religion.
And look, before you go, Johnny, one thing. If you look at it, everybody has different objectives and gods, like you said. All of them at the end of no, I'm not gonna say that. Never mind. Go ahead, Johnny. I'm not gonna because look, I'm gonna go too far, and I don't want to offend anybody on here.
Let me tell you something. I know
let Vanetta speak. Let Vanetta speak.
Hold on.
Come on, man.
I got one solution right quick.
Man,
I got one solution. The fight might not happen while I'm still living, but I hope it happens when my children are. It's a long battle. That's all I'm going to say. It's a long battle. Go ahead, Vanetta.
Because y'all know.
Child. Hey, everybody. What's up?
What's going on,
What's up, Vanetta? You're doing beautiful.
First of all, I want to thank each and every one of you guys. As a member of the New Orleans Legacy Association of Bands, I am so excited about this conversation that we could get Black men together to speak up about their truths and what they're experiencing and how they feel. I see all sides of it. Brother Darrell coming with the whole religion thing. I'm a church kid, y'all. I'm a gospel head. I'm a church kid by foundation. Okay, because that's a very important word that I heard tonight about foundation. And I take nothing from that because it has shaped me and molded me and allowed me to see. You know what I'm saying? And so that's something important that people have to understand, especially as Black people of color. Like we live without a veil. A lot of us see things. We are deeper. We see things deeper. And we have to get in tune with self. God has a lot to do with self and how you hold yourself accountable, how you be intentional about the things that you say and you do and the people you associate yourself with. Tonight I heard the word environment. Man, environment. I'm a product of my environment. And y'all, my environment has a lot to do with the band community, each and every one of y'all, because y'all my brothers. Like y'all know, if y'all see me on the street, it's always love. I grew up in the Ninth Ward, across the canal. Y'all know, bruh, I had it hard, y'all. Y'all hear about my story, me going from school to school. But let me tell you something about me going from school to school. It let me see a lot about how different environments, different neighborhoods, different opportunities. We talk about the St. Aug boys. Those St. Aug boys, that is a brotherhood that you cannot break no matter what. They love their brothers because they were taught that. It was instilled in them. We talked about exposure. Those boys were exposed to things that a lot of other Black boys in our community were not exposed to. It was a structure. Structure is everything, y'all. When it comes to band, when it comes to how you run your household, structure is everything. Okay? Y'all know what I do for a living? Praise God. A lot of y'all know I used to work in the loan industry. I was a loan shark, y'all. I was calling y'all grandmas and y'all mamas. I done called celebrities before. Local celebrities down as references for these $350 loans that y'all know y'all not gonna pay. So I done seen it, heard it all the lies, the schemes, the things that we do to stay afloat, to keep up with these social and pleasure clubs. And I'm not downing it by any means because I love the sense of community. But the thing is that we do not hold each other accountable. Okay, y'all turn the other cheek. Y'all, as a band community, we've dealt with so much with people, getting accused of things, and some of these things, we may or may not have believed they were guilty of or capable of. But the thing is, the reason why we're having this conversation right now about George Floyd is because of accountability. His brothers, his blue brothers, did not hold him accountable. And they don't hold each other accountable because of this thing that they hide behind the blue line. And a lot of police officers, baby, and I know how deep that blue line runs. You hear me? Okay. Why y'all not talking back to me?
Because we listening to you.
Wait. Let me say one thing, sis, and then I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let it. I agree with everything you said, except for the fact that we are brothers. Ike is not your brother because he didn't go to public school. He went to. So we're gonna.
This is why we divided. This is why we divided right now because of Matt.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna touch on schools.
St. Aug is not a part.
Matt is the reason why we divided.
Matt, y'all gotta know Matt.
St. Aug did All-Star Band with y'all before Katrina?
St. Aug didn't do all-star bands. St. Aug doesn't participate in band battles like the organized ones. St. Aug is not a part.
Why you think they didn't participate?
Well, because they're not a part of us. They don't sit at the table and eat with us because we're not. So Vanetta, I agree with everything you said except that part. They have an elitist attitude, and I don't even know what it's based on, other than the fact that they wear matching vests with purple embroidery and those stupid ties and the patent leather shoes. That's it.
You sound like a little.
It was a part of the process. All right, now y'all gonna be mad.
I love you. I love you.
Kennedy gonna be mad, but the reason why they had to wear and everything because it was a part of the program. It was a part of the process of programming them into being those men. But let me tell you, Kennedy, y'all had a process, y'all had a program, but y'all was very segregated. It was a big difference between the haves and the have-nots. Y'all they had them Jordans and the chains, and you know it was a fashion show in my years. I graduated.
It was.
I'm speaking from my experience. Now you're a little older, so I can't speak on that. But anyway, back to the schools, y'all. So now my new job is I am the data and enrollment manager and a front office assistant at Phyllis Wheatley Elementary School. And y'all, dealing with some of these parents, it will make you want to fight them, jump over the counter. Y'all know I'm the urban auntie, whatever y'all want to call me, but I love y'all. Like I really want to see y'all do better. Any of y'all know y'all look at me crazy, but I'm like, bro, get your life. I know a few bad heads know me that I've had to call them like, what's going on with you? Because I care. You know what I'm saying? But these parents, y'all, we have to start with our community. Parents, y'all got to take these cell phones away, take these phones away, these subscriptions, and you have to limit and monitor your children and what your children are exposed to. I heard him say that his cousin, baby daddy, whatever, in Slidell, the children didn't know who Martin Luther King was. Baby, that is the mom fault. That is the mom and daddy fault. I'm sorry. We have to hold, man, y'all, it starts at home. With this social distance learning thing, y'all, our school, it was like a well-run machine because our director loves trackers. So everything was trackers and tracking and who engaged and who didn't engage and who turned in work and who didn't turn work. But our school, we worked it out. Our school is raising money right now we have a mobile library where kids can go online and order books from our school. And we are having teachers deliver those books to those kids. And parents have to be held accountable to make sure that their children are sitting down, turning off the damn TV, and reading a damn book. And if they can't read, you read it to them because that's going to help you too. And it starts at home, y'all. We have to build a sense of community. We have to, even our neighbors, people be beefing with their neighbors over the dumbest stuff. Your neighbors are your biggest allies because your home is what you're protecting. But y'all too busy worried about, oh, they got a new car, so I'm about to go see if I can upgrade too. He got the J's coming out. I'm gonna go get these J's, but my baby mama, we ain't talking right now, so I'm gonna get these J's, but little Johnny, he's gonna be all right. Y'all gotta hold yourself accountable, bro.
Man, what she's saying, I definitely agree that there's a level of accountability that we all got to have in our communities. And that goes back to the points we were all making earlier to, some segments about, just that whole shine mentality. We got to change to what Bill Cosby had said before he got off. We got to change the narrative of where we are and how we see ourselves and how we move as a community. I'm gonna say this, and this is a personal thing. So I want to get back to George Floyd. I don't want to not say his name, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, I forget how to say his name, but all these people that's dying, right? Sandra Bland, and so forth and so on. I was one of the reasons somebody tell Bud to turn his put his mic. Darrell,
where you at, nigga?
Darrell, cut your mic, mute your phone.
It might be in his pocket. Yeah. So when I was living in Texas, it's 2008. I was in Fort Worth, and I was pulled out of my car, and I was beat by 2 police officers. A lot of people don't know that. I was beat to a pulp, then thrown in jail. So I know that feeling of your life being on the line. I know what it feels like. I know the passion. I know the pain. I know the fear. I know all of that goes into that type of situation. I hold that dear to my chest because one, I have PTSD when I'm driving around the city, right? Like if I get in my car at nighttime, if a police officer is in any vicinity, my heart starts beating fast because I know that experience. That's a natural reaction that a person have once they experience trauma, right? So we can't negate the trauma that people are going through. We have to deal with the trauma. And the trauma, you need programs for that. And then there's trauma, then there's indirect trauma. Like if you have a child inside the house and somebody got shot outside, the child has been traumatized by that gunshot. We got to deal with those traumas. There are programs all around the city that we have, but they get very little support. and very little funding. And then we ask ourselves, why are people not getting healed? Why are people not getting better? Because we turn blind eyes to this, right? Part 2, part 3, part 4, after I was assaulted by police officers, I was thrown in jail and I was charged with assault to a police officer. And it was 2 of them, right? And all I was doing is protecting myself. Now, what you find is, what Sister Vanetta was saying, that blue line, they begin to agree and conspire.
Yeah.
And at the correctional officers to keep me in jail without even processing my paperwork. So I sat there from 10 a.m. in the morning to 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. because they didn't want to process my work because they said I assaulted one of their people. Then I went to court, and now the judge is in cahoots with the district attorney, who's in cahoots with the goddamn officers. So when we start talking system, and you talking about killing and fighting, if you go out on the front line and you kill one of them, you better have all your shit in order. That's all I'm saying. Because either you better be prepared for the outcome, or you prepared for whatever happens. Like the brother said when he got off the phone, before he got off the phone, Malcolm X, this is what I want to say. I know I'm long-winded, y'all, but I'm the guest speaker, so I get to speak. I don't know about y'all Kennedy people that everybody talk. But so when that special guest, yes. So with one thing, let's talk about heritage. And I'm gonna bring that to today's time. The Haitians, the reason why the Haitians won the revolution against France, because they didn't have fear. A part of their belief, they used to go into the swamps and do meditations and worship and create seances with alligators and water moccasins and everything there. And anytime someone stepped foot on the soils of Haiti, they killed them. And they say, you say any more from France, we're gonna kill them too. The mentality they had was there was no fear in death, because death was the next level. Our community, we're afraid of that, because everybody that stepped up and fought for our community got their head knocked off. Everybody. Think about all of your leaders. They all got killed. And that's what we got to get in our mind, that reprogramming. What are you willing to do? For everything that you receive, you got to give something up. That's the yin and the yang.
That reprogramming, that's very important. Let me tell you something that's also deep in our community is colorism. And looking at me, you know, I recognize my privilege. And honestly, I have used it to my advantage to be able to get jobs with no degree. Let me just be honest. Because my parents instilled in education in me. I'm the youngest of 4 children. My mama used to call me the last of the Mohicans. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my story. I'm the product of my parents being separated, and I was conceived during the division of that separation. My parents got back together. So my biological father is white, but I have no relationship with him. So dealing with Black women in New Orleans, Black people in New Orleans, colorism is so deep in our community, you guys. We have to break that, because you look at people, but when a white man look at me, I'm still a nigga. I might could, work in his office. I might can, he might let me babysit his children. I'm still a nigga. So I remember, y'all, everybody knows my connection to Minneapolis is my parents went to college in Minnesota. My brothers and sisters also went to that private white college in Minnesota, because my parents had college roommates from the 9th Ward that got a scholarship to that school, and they became very close. That's how we got to New Orleans, because when my parents graduated from college, they followed their friends. So that's why I'm first generation New Orleans. I see so much, women are so evil and mean to each other about, long hair. I don't give a damn about none of this, y'all. Y'all know, y'all done see me chop off my hair. People who know me for years, it doesn't mean anything to me. You know what I'm saying? We have to change our mindset. We have to change the way we look at people. But going back to Minneapolis, y'all see me share a church called Fellowship Missionary Baptist Church. Today, those women got together and lined up the hallways and opened the church and had everything you could need that was essential. Those people in Minneapolis have a sense of community that New Orleans does not have. And that's one thing that I do miss about that area. But it just was New Orleans, y'all just pull me back. I don't know what it is, but it's cool. I'm done. Y'all can sidebar and talk about me. Yoshi, let me tell you something. Next time I see you, I need my round because you ignorant. You said that this gonna be another story. Y'all, if y'all know me, my story is deep and I'll tell you my story. I'm very transparent about my story and my experiences. And that's why I hold people accountable because it's important. It's important. Yes, y'all, I'm gone.
All right, people. We didn't actually been on about 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And so we got to close this one out. But all in all, man, it's been like great dialect. And the thing I like is the fact that we disagreed, but we remained. Yeah,
Dialogue. You with the
well,
Kennedy. Dialogue.
but we no, we did dialogue,
Dialect is what people, it's the way they speak. Dialogue is communication. Keep going.
yeah, we did dialogue, but on many points, on quite a few points, we sat on opposite sides of the spectrum, but we did so respectfully. The one thing I enjoy about this all is I think we all want the same things. We all sick of black people being oppressed. We all want liberation for black people. We may all have different routes that we think we should take to get there, but what makes my heart smile is the fact that we all want the same thing. So it has been a pleasure to have been on with you righteous brothers and the righteous sister that came on. I really appreciate it. That's my closing remark. What y'all have to say?
I'll go. Hey, look, I know I was late today. The good reason I was late, my job, I took a moment of silence from George Floyd. I know Ike said he wanted to, mention the name George Floyd, and the reason why we was doing this conversation on this show. It's good. The thing that I liked about the show, we had people of all different ages. We like to say, the young people don't get it, and we lost. We had young people, we had old people, we had mid-aged people. And like Matt said, we all got the same agenda, but different tastes. But if we put all that together, we make one big gumbo. We can make a big ass, great, good world. And I ain't go
Gumbo.
to Kennedy, I ain't go to St. Aug, so fuck both of them.
What?
Let's go walk up.
I just want to touch on something. We didn't get to touch on it tonight. I do not forgive Drew Brees for what he said.
Yeah.
I do not
Me
accept
either.
his apology.
No.
Do not accept his apology, and it's based on the fact that as black people, we are way too forgiving to the wrong people. When people say something twice, we should most definitely listen when they say it the first time. Also, Drew Brees
He
never
spoke with
changed his.
passion and from his heart.
He never changed his stance. This is not like this is his first time saying it. This is his second time saying it, and his second time after watching the video of George Floyd and the platform that Drew Brees have, them comments should have never been made. If he watched that video and shared a locker room with people that look like me and you, that should have never came out his mouth. Because let's keep it a
They
buck. They still
they're
haven't
in
forgiven. They still haven't forgiven Michael Vick for fighting dogs.
they're those black people that he worked with are ends to means. But the issue with Drew Brees is that people of his ilk lack the ability to feel empathy and sympathy for us. We want that from us when they relish in seeing that. They love seeing that kind of thing. They love seeing us suffer. They don't feel any kind of way remorseful seeing that brother die like that. His point was, I don't give a damn what happened. The flag is more important, the anthem is more important than any black life.
It's deeper
So
than that,
let's not
man.
lose sight of
It's
that.
deeper than that.
Hey, real quick before you
Niggas
go,
stand up, and that's what it is.
I want to
It's
say
way
one thing
deeper
about
than that.
that before you go. I want to say that. Look, I don't think Drew Brees, and y'all might say I'm being a Who Dat fan, but I don't think Drew Brees is racist. He did make the wrong comments at the wrong time. I think
He just said a
was
bunch of
thinking of
racist
it.
shit.
He was thinking it from a different perspective. He never said, and every disagreement is not a damn argument. He never said that what the cops were doing was wrong. He said the reason for him and not kneeling for a flag is for his personal reason. What's wrong with that?
Hey, we gotta end this.
The point.
We're gonna be here all night.
He made
I wish he'd have said that earlier, Darrell.
He made
I
it
sure
about
wish he'd
him.
have said that earlier.
He made it about him. It wasn't about him.
But that's
like all lives matter people showing up to Black Lives Matter rally. It ain't about y'all, bro. We talking about us right now. And if you not with us on the same page with us, then you against us.
Yeah,
and that's
we gotta stop trying to excuse racist shit that these bastards saying about us. We gotta stop trying to excuse that away.
But he never said nothing about us.
John,
he gave one reason on why he wouldn't do it. But that's another. I'll chat with you, Matt, on that.
Hey, so
let's do it.
My closing remarks is, man, let's keep fighting this fight, man. Let's get educated. Let's educate each other. Like, I believe that if we can educate each other, like this dialogue that we had tonight, this is some value. I don't feel like nobody said was wrong. You know, I don't feel like nobody said was wrong. I think people have different perspective of things, but I don't feel like nobody said was wrong. Let's keep fighting the fight. If we go fight this fight, we may take some licks. Let's get that out the way. We may take some licks. You know, we may not even be here to see the outcome of this fight, but we got to keep fighting this fight. But we have to instill that into our children so they can instill it into their children. Berger, you said something today that a lot of people something about breaking a cycle. You breaking a cycle when you say you about to own your house. You know what I'm saying? Let's break the cycle. We break up. I got my house. I'm trying to save for my kids for education. Let's break the cycle. It might not happen today, but it will happen if we continue to do this. Let's keep pushing. Wait, All
right. First of all, I want to again thank you all, you gentlemen, and Robin for allowing me to be on this platform with you guys. I'll just close because this means a lot to me, like more than y'all even know, and just to know that there's people that's tuning in, that's hearing us have this dialogue, it blesses my heart. And I don't know how long I have on this earth, but I'm gonna keep working until I close my eyes to Uhuru. But I want to talk on a few things. As I mentioned, as I started, was like the topic was empower our community towards lasting change, and that's what I've been sticking on all day. There are things that we can talk about offline because I don't want to talk about my business with the whole world. And I don't need that recorded, but for lasting change, we have to change our mentality and our approach to the enemy that we're fighting. We have peaceful protests, that wasn't good enough. We have violent protests, that's not good enough. So clearly, whatever we're doing is not going to be good enough for the infrastructure that we are dealing with. So we have to go within ourselves and think like Stokely Carmichael. I'm gonna be quiet on this point. Stokely Carmichael said this. He said, the philosopher Franz Fanon talks about how there's oppressors and then there's the people that are oppressed. The oppressed try to reach to the oppressor of giving their liberation. The oppressor doesn't listen to them. They try all different types of means to get their liberation. The oppressor doesn't listen to them until the oppressed changes that one taboo, and that's to fight back. And when they fought back, because only the oppressed understands, the only oppressor understands fighting. That's all they understand. They don't understand peace. They understand questions. They understand niceness. They understand violence beget violence. So when we respond in the way that we need to respond, thank you for America for teaching us how to be.
Ike, would you talk about your Black Friday business?
So Black Friday Business Initiative is an organization that I started back in 2013. And the premise of it is to get Black-owned businesses all on one accord. What I do, I put a decal on your windows. That decal represents 4 things. 1, that is a Black-owned business. 2, that has a good product. 3, that have good pricing. And 4, that business gives back to the community. With that, the money that we have generated, that when we start giving back to the community is for our youth, to get educational programs, to be able to get them uniforms, get them books, and to bring them outside of the city of New Orleans and bring them to other places. So everything is focused toward the children and not toward the adults. But we need the adults to take care of the kids.
You have an Instagram page or a Facebook page?
Yes, I dropped it. It's on IG. It's blackfriday.bi, and on Facebook it's Black Friday Business Initiative. And also I have a show just like this one is on the same platform. It's called Parlay the Morning After, and it's myself and a sister who's an attorney. We talk about Black relationships on how to better us, because you can't fix the world if your home is tore up. So that's one platform that we're dealing with was Black love, because I think Black love is the greatest love on the planet because it defies all the odds.
Man, it was a good show tonight, man. We about to end the show. Make sure y'all go like our page, Crucial Conflict. Make sure y'all go like that. Look, another thing is we're gonna be here every Thursday, 7 p.m. Man, if you have a subject you want us to talk about, go put it on the page. Let us know what you want us to talk about. You know, we just appreciate everybody that viewed the show tonight, man. We really appreciate y'all. We appreciate the comments. We appreciate everything, man. We appreciate all the schools in New Orleans. Let's just say that. We appreciate all the schools in New Orleans.
He is coming for St. Aug, bro. I don't know why.
Nothing but love. We gotta start sharing. We sharing this knowledge, bro. This goes a long way, man. And that's it, man.
It can't stop tonight. Don't stop tonight.
I'm always open for discussion. Anytime. Hit me up. Let's rock.
Can't stop
Brady
tonight.
is still the GOAT. Let's put
Tom Brady is the same.